I know one thing. Wherever we go, this podcast is our fortress.
That's good.
Now, we were saying...
You wanted to do the Way of Water.
But they don't have the full version online. The only part I could do is the way of podcast connects all things before your birth and after your death. But I want the full...
I know. It was beautiful. It was what a mission statement.
Yeah, one of 12 moments in this movie that almost made me cry.
Hell yeah. Almost. Should've
I
just let
never
it happen.
got there. Yeah, I wasn't... Look, I put up no guard.
Friend of the show, Katie,
Rich.
she's seen it twice.
Uh-huh.
She says she just cries the whole last hour.
Cool.
But especially one moment in particular.
I mean,
I'll
I think
mention it later.
Griffin, correct me if I'm wrong here, you don't have children.
Then he knows.
Hold on. Let me check. No, I don't. I do not. No.
I think that's what we're missing in terms of the crying factor.
I don't cry often at movies.
Griffin's not really a crier.
I get choked up.
I cry at everything.
You cried
I
at
always have.
Fabelmans.
I cried at
but
Fabelmans.
that was unusual.
It was a little unusual.
Okay.
It was a little unusual. Yeah.
Yeah, but you didn't cry, but you did see.
Cheer.
You did cheer.
Yeah. Come? Question mark.
Great noise from me and Marie in stereo there.
Well, I think we also we need to get into our viewing experience.
I know.
Oh,
we
have a story.
Introduce the podcast. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Welcome. It's the end of the year.
Woo!
And here's what I say to our listeners.
He's doing the thing. He's doing the hand motion.
I see you. You may be hearing us right now, but I see you.
I see you too.
This is Blank Check with Griffin and David. I'm Griffin.
I'm David.
Lightning fast.
Because someone, spoiler alert for a future episode, someone Bigfooted me.
Yeah.
You'll see.
Yeah. This is a podcast about filmographies.
Mm-hmm.
Directors who have massive success early on in their careers, such as making Terminator 2, True Lies, Titanic, and Avatar in a row, and are given a series of blank checks. Possibly the biggest checks ever offered to anyone.
Yep.
To make whatever crazy passion products they want, such as 5 Avatar movies. Now maybe threatening up to 7. And sometimes those checks clear and sometimes they bounce, baby.
Yep.
Sometimes they skim on the water, like the mighty skimwing.
Is that what they're called?
Yes. Half of they're actually 2 different similar looking species of that size. There's the elu and there's the skimwing.
What's the difference?
I don't know. They look similar.
They might be the same.
The skimwing seems to maybe have a longer nose and shorter wings. They're different.
They do seem to be different.
I didn't know they had names. I just was like, oh yeah, the underwater band.
The skimwing fly.
Oh,
the
so
elu
the elu
do not
don't
fly.
Okay,
Okay,
the elu
wet flyers. That's what
the
we're
wet
talking about.
flyers.
So that's like the difference. The
Yes.
elu are like the dire horses.
Gotcha.
And the skimwings
Yes.
are like the
Gotcha.
mighty ikran.
And then of course we have our lovely space whales,
The tulkun.
the tulkun.
Have you introduced the show? I forget.
Yeah, I did the introduction. Today we return to Pandora.
Mm-hmm.
We return to one of the earliest filmmakers we ever covered, who has taken 13 years to make another movie.
He has.
Remember when the
One of our
Titanic
first 4 miniseries, right?
gap felt long and somehow this is longer?
Yes.
He beat it by a year.
Yes.
You have to, I mean,
That's
it's
math.
probably
Yes.
because of the pandemic, but
Sure, that's true. There's a world where this came out a couple years ago, I guess. But no.
at least a year. I think the pandemic pushed it back one final year. It is wild that it actually exists,
Yeah.
that it is in theaters, and we have now all seen it.
Yay!
I remember when I tweeted about this.
Mhm.
Like, oh, guys, we have an Avatar 2 release date, December, whatever.
Yeah.
Multiple people tweeted at me saying,
Never gonna happen.
not going to happen.
Because
I'll
you
believe it when I see
Come
it.
at that point where people are just like, yeah. It's the same people. Anyway, whatever. People made that joke about Top Gun Maverick. They
Right.
made that joke about,
Yeah.
Sometimes it actually happens.
Sometimes it actually happens.
Yes.
And it did happen. We have returned to Pandora.
Mhm.
And I could have stayed a little longer. That was my first criticism of the movie.
Oh,
Too short.
I mean, truly, ring me out
There was
because I got wet.
Oh, good.
Ben
good.
basically turned to me halfway through and said, I disavow ever being a dry guy.
That's true.
That was an ill-begotten phase.
I'm back.
Wow, Marie, I'm looking at every tweet you've ever written about Avatar. Some good ones in here.
Mm.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
It feels incredible that we've seen it, and I there was truly a point where I could tell, like, oh, we've like clicked into the final act I've heard so much about with the relentless action, and I got sad recognizing, oh, this means
This is it.
I'm
Right.
closer to the end of this film.
Yeah, we're almost done.
Because, look, we like Avatar on this podcast, something that has somehow become a controversial stance, although
Has
maybe things are finally coming back around to that being a normal opinion people are allowed to have without being viewed as some like provocative contrarian take.
Oh, whatever. Don't worry.
Everyone's dumb.
Yeah.
But that having been said, weirdly, ironically, the opposite of what Avatar haters say, where they're like, no one remembers the story, no one cares about the characters in Avatar, people just liked it because it was an experience and it was 3D and the visuals and everything. My love of Avatar has almost always been based in that movie's pure functionality, in like its kind of narrative construction, its epic, sincere storytelling.
Okay.
As much as I appreciate all these other qualities, I never was one of those people who had the post-Avatar effect that people talked about, where it's like, I want to live in this world. I wish I was in Pandora. I want to live here. Watching this movie, I fully fucking felt it. I don't know if it says more about what's changed in the last 13 years in movies and myself, whatever, but I truly halfway through entered a Zen state where I'm like, I want to be here for the rest of time.
That's cool. What's the film called?
Avatar: The Way of Water.
Thank you. I was like, when we're still in the intro, I just enter like a stasis.
We're out of
So
the
I'm
intro.
Like, now we're out. We're here to
Podmater
discuss.
2 Judgment Cast,
That's really what we did.
our
Jesus.
2016 miniseries, now finally.
2016? Was it 2016?
I think he was, because I think we did Cameron Crowe and James Cameron back to back. I think he was the fourth guy we ever covered.
He was the fourth guy we ever covered. Yeah, I guess we started in
Shyamalan,
yeah.
Wachowski.
We started in
Crowe,
2016. Yep.
Yeah.
Finished. Yeah.
Yeah.
In,
Oh, we tipped into the beginning of 17?
just with the Avatar Land episode. That was
Okay,
the only
so
one.
it's been...
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that doesn't even count. That
That's
That was
not
later.
bummer.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. To Rook
yeah.
the first flight was December 16. Yeah. So here we are. We've seen
6 years later.
We've seen The
Yeah.
Way of Water.
Yes.
His sequel to Avatar.
Uh-huh.
It's opening today, basically.
We went to
When
the,
we record,
the
you went to
public
the
preview
Thursday.
screening Thursday early. Right.
Let us tell you, folks, it was not easy.
It was
So-
not easy.
I was not with you guys yesterday.
Oh,
I was at my staff holiday party for the Atlantic. I had seen the film the week before. I knew you guys were going to see it at 5:00.
You had an additional 10 days of having seen The Way of Water that I will never get back. I will never catch up with.
You'll never forgive me.
No.
But so I'm not aware. I just know that there were some shenanigans last night, and I want to hear about them. So as we get into the meat of this episode first.
We should also mention it's a Bardi party. Marie Bardi is here today.
Marie's
What's
here.
up?
Ben's here, as always.
I'm here.
Getting wet.
And I don't really know what happened last night. I just know
Okay.
there was some chaos. And I want to hear about it. And then we'll talk about the film Avatar: The Way of Water.
Start all of this just by prefacing. Been waiting 13 years for this movie.
Right. You're a little excited.
Yeah.
And you have some build up here.
And also, by the way, little nervous.
Okay.
Yeah.
Even though at least there had been reactions that were positive.
There's relief there, but
Yeah.
it felt similar to the first time, the whole never bet against Jim Cameron thing. The reason that exists
I
is
had to
because
cancel so many bets.
Yeah.
I had so many bets in.
Yeah.
I'm
You
fucking,
really-
Howie, what's his last name?
Howie Ratner.
Yeah, Howie Ratner on the phone, like, cancel all my Cameron bets.
We had
I'm screwed.
Paul Sorvino keeps knocking on our fucking studio door.
Yes.
No, but the reason that exists is because almost anytime James Cameron does anything, you're like, sounds maybe catastrophic, but he's never
Right.
wrong, right?
Where he's like, right, I'm going to do a sequel to Avatar. And I'm like, logical. And he's like, Sigourney Weaver's playing a teenager. And I'm like, oh, really?
We're writing 4 of them at the same
We're doing
time.
it all together. Uh-huh.
We're bringing back
Okay.
all dead characters and adding 8 children.
Yeah, it's going to be mostly kids. There's going to be a white kid with dreads. And I'm like,
Hey.
yeah.
Right. And like the reviews are good. You've seen it, you like it, all of that, but you're still like, I want him to transport me, right? This movie, the tickets finally go on sale. whatever it was, like 3 weeks ago, 4
Sure.
weeks ago, he has talked about the fact that this is the most different formats a movie has ever been released in.
True.
So I immediately feel the stress of what is the right way to see this movie?
Right.
Where do we want to see it? At what time? On what day? Is it better to go to the earliest possible screening? Is it better go where there's going to be more of a crowd? Do we want to see it in high frame rate 3D and IMAX 3D, but without high frame? It's so unclear what the best way to see Dolby, Laser, Prime, any of these things, right?
Right.
We basically, Regal seems to be the only chain that is advertising which screenings are high frame rate.
Okay.
We go to the Union Square Regal Theater. There is RPX, which is now their largest and most premium screen.
That is essentially what they call these days the there's an abbreviation, prime format or whatever.
Minimax or whatever.
No,
Yeah.
not that.
Oh.
It's like, right? You know, PFR or something,
Sure.
where it's like, it's not IMAX.
Mhm.
It's not anything in particular. Maybe
That's-
they have a laser
that's their
projector, but it's
branded,
just nice
basically-
seats.
Because
like,
Sound
AMC
is
has
really
the
good.
Dolby Cinema
Right.
partnership, and this is like their equivalent of that.
Right.
They're like,
premium large format,
Right.
Thank
PLF.
you.
That's it.
right, and they're like, this is our biggest screen, this is our best projection,
Right.
all of this,
In
right?
general, trying to guarantee you a better experience here. Right.
Absolutely. And we're like, it's 3D, it's high frame rate, the tickets are expensive. They basically cost as much as the 4DX in the same theater. But I was like, much as I love 4DX, I don't want to watch this movie in 4DX for the first time,
Mhm.
Absolutely not.
right?
No.
Right. So
I mean, we would have been fucking
Yeah.
soaking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they don't even run the jets. They
No.
just seal the room and then
Slowly.
Fully
it's the end of Titanic.
They hand out little floaties you put on your
Yeah.
arm.
They handcuff you to a pipe.
yeah. So let's set the scene for yesterday. The day has finally come. I arrive at Regal about 20 to 15 minutes early.
Uh-huh.
And
I have the tickets.
Griffin has the tickets.
a mistake, a profound mistake.
Yes.
I
So,
will say I was not aware that that was the situation because I wasn't involved.
huh?
But when that text came in,
Yep.
where Griff was like, "I have the tickets," I'm at Grand Central waiting on the 4 train. And
Right.
There were 10 minutes before showtime.
Yeah,
was like,
and
oh boy.
I also we talk about being excited for the screening. Yes, we're excited for Avatar, but we
Sure.
also are really excited for the previews that will be attached to. the
Everyone
screening
knows
of
about
Avatar.
Oppenheimer, and then on the day, people start being like, "Yo, they're just playing the Barbie trailer in
Yeah,
front of this."
so
too.
I didn't know
Like,
the
it
Barbie.
wasn't even- that
I
was-
wasn't even preparing to
That
see
was
Barbie.
a surprise.
That, I mean, we'll get into it. But so I'm watching the clock.
Sure.
Griffin is 30 blocks uptown. The train hasn't come yet.
I
I'm
wanna-
starting to freak out.
And I want
He's
to make
about to say that he's one stop away, but
We know he's
I was,
not.
but it's a long express
it's
stop.
an express.
But it is
Right.
technically one stop away.
Yeah, but Tony
Mhm.
Collette over here isn't happy.
I understand.
She's a clock watcher.
I know I got it.
Mhm.
And 5 comedy points.
Yeah.
My timeline was I got into Grand Central at like 5:01. We have a 5 o'clock
You
screening.
mean, you mean Union Square? Not
Yes,
Grand Central.
sorry. I get there at 5. We're basically in the theater at like 5:06.
Correct.
But Marie texts at like 4:55 from the
I
lobby
would've
and
done the
says,
same thing.
Yeah.
"I am buying my own ticket because I don't want to miss the trailers."
Yeah, because also with the way that it works for getting into the theater,
And this is not the way of water.
No.
This is the way of Regal.
This is the way of Regal, and it's bullshit.
It sucks.
Everyone needs to be there at the same time. There's only one ticket for
Right,
all
so it's
fi-
like the
all
Not a
multiple
three
great
of us.
ticket,
system.
or
No.
if you do the
Yeah.
printout, then you have to find a way to leave the other 2 tickets
Yeah,
with
it's
someone.
stupid.
So we're meeting a friends of the podcast, Jordan Fish, Ray Tintori, also go to the screening with us. They bought their own tickets together, right?
Smart.
So they're
They
there.
know.
Marie's there. Ben then arrives. I arrive. Ben's waiting for me in the lobby. I retrieve our 3 tickets. There's now been 4 tickets bought for the 3 of us.
Oh, that
Correct.
means I'm there in spirit, like
Right.
Elijah.
Of course, yes. We get there. Marie is like, they've just been doing the pre-roll. This is the first trailer,
Great.
Mhm.
right? We've been doing the Regal
So you're
shuffle.
really annoyed because Griffin actually got there. Like,
Well, just you wait.
Just-
David.
Just you wait.
Just
Just
that
you
wait.
wait.
So they do the thing that they also did for Top Gun Maverick, which I love, where they have like branded commemorative popcorn buckets
this is a new thing.
and plastic
Merchandise
cups.
Specialite. Oh, he brought it.
Yeah.
Merchandise Specialite. Is that what I just said? Merchandise Spotlight. Griff's bringing out
Yes.
a metal popcorn container with a
Yes.
bunch of tulkun on them.
Yes.
Oh my God, he's got like
So
4
I
items
think
in
how much
there.
did this cost? So this was like $20, $25.
I think it was $25 with free
Yeah.
refills. Although they
Yeah.
fought me on it a little bit.
I want to say, Griff.
Yeah.
Katie
Yeah.
texted me from her screening in North
The
Carolina.
Great Kitty Rich.
Great Kitty Rich. She got a glowing.
Yeah, hers
bowl.
glows.
That
in
is
the
the
dark.
AMC.
Yeah.
So
I will
that's
be
the
going
AMC
there for my
version.
second viewing. I will be getting that, and they're different collector cup.
Yeah.
So this is a popcorn tin.
It's nice.
Marie says, I already bought the combo, so you don't have to get one. And I said, fuck that. You think I'm not taking home my own bucket.
Right. So
Then you get this reusable cup
Mhm.
with all the sea creatures on it.
Yeah.
There were special branded Avatar 3D glasses.
Navy
They're
blue.
They have the logo on
Mhm.
them.
That's nice.
In classic Big Jim Cameron style, the bags for the glasses were paper instead of plastic.
Great.
Can we get some sound effect of that on the?
Oh,
Here's what the tin sounds like.
that's so bad.
That is
Popcorn
so
tin
bad.
sounds like
I
this.
do not need sound effects.
Collectible cup sounds
This
like
is not
this.
an oral experience.
And then the last. I'm sorry.
You got like a mason jar there.
Right. Well, this was for my cocktail, which we'll talk about in a second. That's just
It's a
Regal
Regal mason
branded.
jar.
And then you got a little
Oh, a little guy.
tulkun.
No, is that a tulkun? No, that looks like
No,
a
that's
This is
a-
an ilu.
Elu. Yes.
yeah.
I got a little ilu. Yeah. So this was the combo.
Right. So
We get two of these.
So I already got.
Also, they just had bones and all Polaroids.
right.
Very nice.
They
That
were
has
scanning
nothing to
this
do
out.
with this movie.
So I let everyone know excitedly, guys, I got the combo.
Yeah.
And then Griffin's like, fuck you. I need my own combo. So Griffin leaves right as the Barbie
the
trailer.
first two trailers play, and they're both trailers that have been in circulation for like 4 or 5 months, right?
Like,
So
what do we
whatever the
got?
first trailer was.
No, it was John Wick was the first one. And then I think trailer 2 was Barbie.
No, because trailer 2 was Shazam, and I was
Oh,
like,
you're right.
I can fucking go get concessions while Shazam. I saw there wasn't a line. I'm going to go. And I go, and I think I'm pretty quick. And while I'm checking out, Marie texts me, they played the Barbie trailer. It's a 2001 homage shot for shot.
It's
And
very
then I
funny.
walk in, and the Oppenheimer trailer is like media res.
Yeah.
As I'm trying to get through the aisles.
How's the opera? I haven't seen that one.
Oh, it's great. Oh my God, David.
As David Sims of the Atlantic would say, it owns bones.
Hell yeah.
It's the Master meets Interstellar.
Do you-
Hard.
Do you
Yeah.
know that Owns Bones was quoted in Vulture's Oscar handicapping piece about Avatar's chances as a Best
Shout
Picture
out
contender?
Nate Jones. That's great. That's
Mhm.
great. I have seen the Barbie trailer. However, it's online,
Barbie trailer is
and it's
incredible.
very, very funny.
Yeah,
Right.
also
really-
Owns Bones.
Because like at the beginning, I'm like, I'd already heard the 2001 parody thing, so I'm watching. I'm like, oh, this is funny. And she did the match cut.
I mean,
really
oh,
got
it's all
me.
really
Got a
Chef's
little
kiss.
belly laugh
And I
there.
also like that there's like genuine. Look, people have said we're connoisseurs of context.
Mm.
I think there's an important framing context for this movie to be like, it was revolutionary that there was a doll that was an adult who was fashionable.
Right,
Yeah.
there wasn't just a fat baby.
Yeah.
She had boobs.
Yeah.
Go off,
Yeah.
Barbie.
So yeah, Barbie trailer great. So
Okay.
I bet you guys are thinking, okay, well, Griffin missed the Barbie trailer.
That's the
Couldn't
What's
get worse.
The big
old- yeah,
kerfuffle.
right.
Couldn't
right,
get
right.
worse.
And we're
Why
a
are
little,
they starting
a little
a
stressed
podcast
about
with
getting
this?
there in time, whatever.
Mhm.
But like, we're settling in. We're starting to feel fine. They turn the 3D on. They play a couple Marvel trailers in 3D. The 3D's working. This is an important part of the story.
Like it did work when they did this. So you
Guardians of the Galaxy,
Ant-Man and Guardians.
Ant-Man,
Sure.
and maybe there's another fucking trailer with shitty post-conversion 3D that plays. The 3D is working.
Yeah.
And then the movie Avatar: The Way of Water starts.
Yeah.
And
And
I
I'm pretty
look-
excited.
We're thrilled, and I look across the aisle, and all 5 of us are doing the exact same thing. We're taking our 3D glasses and like lifting them and
Uh-huh.
lowering them,
Uh-huh.
and then like closing one eye and closing the other
Right.
eye, and going like,
And you ain't watching Godard's Goodbye to Language.
No, something is up.
right. And then it like keeps going on.
I'm throwing some crazy references out.
You're coming in hot today.
Yeah.
That movie has the anyway. Yeah.
The more the
Well,
movie
that'd be
goes
okay.
on, we're talking the first like 90 seconds,
Yeah.
right? We've cut a couple times now. You have those establishing shots at the beginning, but now we're in like Notiri in the forest with the bow, pregnant,
Right.
whatever, and we're like, it's clearly not. There's no depth to this
Mhm.
whatsoever.
So what-
you take the glasses off, there's no blur.
So the 3D is simply not on.
Correct.
It has
Correct.
not been turned on.
Now, the
or
second
whatever.
part of this is the image is glitching.
Uh-huh.
I can only describe it as like the effect in Spider-Verse
Yeah.
when the characters are being torn across realities, and it's like,
so the DCP is just
they'll
broken.
go like, pff,
Yeah, the DCP must have been corrupted. There were like red and green strobing lights anytime there was like something bright in the
I
background.
hope Big Jim doesn't hear this because he's about to go rip someone
This
to
is the other thing.
pieces.
So we're turning to each other and we're like, this is fucked. This is fucked. This is fucked.
Yeah.
And A, we're stressed out that we've been waiting so long to see this movie.
But two, it's like you don't even want to watch this at all.
And then we start panicking about the implications of this.
Are we going to do the podcast?
Well, not even
David, not
implications for us. We mean, what if
they're all broken?
they're all fucked up?
Maria and I are turned to each other within 2 minutes of this movie breaking down and going like, fuck, his gambit's gonna fail.
No,
if they're having trouble opening night, first screening this movie, is this happening? We weren't like, there's a virus. We didn't think it was Y2K.
Threw the package a little too hard out of the airplane or whatever.
The other thing was, like, Jordan and Ray, who are really well-versed in all the technical sides of
Jordan
these
will
things.
tell me where the best bulbs in Manhattan are.
Yes,
and
both of them love 3D and stereoscopic projection, all this sort of shit. They're both like, it has to be the file. The projector's not fucked. The file is fucked. The file for this movie is obviously complicated.
Sure.
What are the odds that this isn't happening other places? Not that it's Y2K and it's all collapsing, but whatever. So we're at this point.
Sounds like you guys were maybe just a little stressed out in general.
I'm shaking.
Yeah.
So 90 seconds into this, 2 minutes tops, right?
Yeah.
I just go, fuck it. I'm
you got to run out. You got to run out.
No one else is running out. So I run out and I literally say it to the guy, and it's that thing where I can tell the second I start verbalizing it, I'm embarrassingly close to crying.
Yeah, you're like, it's just not the image isn't. You're like,
I'm more trembling.
You're like someone bursting into a hospital, being like, "Is there a doctor?"
Yeah, it was truly that. I go, we're in theater 13, and it is fucked. The projection is fucked. And they were like, "What's wrong?" And I'm like, "Everything is wrong."
I mean, I can't even. Okay.
It was so dramatic, and then Griffin comes back, and we're like, okay, so are they gonna fix it? He's like, they're troubleshooting the problem.
I'm like, the man followed me in. He recognized that there was a problem. Because I have had this problem at that theater once before where I saw Jungle Cruise, which was misprojected. I didn't care as much.
Sure.
I went out and complained. The guy followed me in and he went, that's just how the movie looks. And I was like, look, I know this movie sucks, but it's not supposed to look like that.
Let's give Jungle and Sarah his flowers.
He's a visual stylist. The man understands the technical aspects of filmmaking. But so the guy goes like, oh, fuck, this is a problem.
Right. Yeah. And also, this is Avatar. It's really hard to work those theaters when there's like the big movies. And like, so it's not like Jungle Cruise where he's like, motherfucker, I don't know, it's Jungle Cruise. Like, it's like, okay, we can't be showing this wrong.
It is a horrible ice rain night in New York City.
It's a nasty night.
The theater is not packed. No. It's not like they're overrun.
Well, and also, you're there at 5, which is weirdly early. Like, I feel like classically those showings start at 7.
Correct.
So, yeah.
We went to the earliest possible showing, and we're like, the first one in the most premium screen is failing. When I went also to complain, the one employee turned to the other employee and went, Avatar, are you sure that's supposed to be in 3D? And I was like, yes. It's Avatar.
Wait, but forgot to mention this. When I bought my own ticket to get into the theater early, the woman didn't give me 3D glasses. And I was like, excuse me, ma'am, isn't this for
James Cameron heard that he'd be bursting blood.
This is the other part.
This is New York City, too. It's
so
a big theater.
hard to make 3D a viable thing, right? Then everyone else fucked it. And he's like, look, obviously, it's been a rough couple of years. The foot went off the gas. For 3D for 6 or 7 years, I'm coming back to show people how to do it right. And this movie's being misprojected. So then at some point, they flip a switch, right? The movie goes black for like a millisecond, and then it comes back basically at the moment where, spoiler alert, we'll get into all of this, Miles Quaritch is reawakening.
To be clear, we will be spoiling the film.
Every single aspect of this movie. Much like Regal spoiled our first attempt at watching the film. They flip the switch, and you're like, okay, I think it's in 3D now. And we put it on, and we're like, what's going on? And Jordan is basically immediately identifies what the problem is. And he's like, the layers are flipped. They have the polarity flipped. So the background elements are being forefronted.
It almost sounds interesting.
It was unwatchable.
Like viewing 8, maybe you do that. Sure.
I would have gotten sick.
Right, of course. Your brain's not supposed to.
It felt like Goodbye to Language.
That.
It did feel like double exposure stuff in Goodbye to Language. But you're watching it and you're just like, there was a 3D effect going on, but in a way that breaks my brain.
Yeah.
It's everything that everyone who dislikes 3D complains about, where you're like, I immediately have a headache. The strobing is out of control. So we go out and complain again. And we just hit the point. We're now like 15, 20 minutes into the movie. Yeah. And Marie just finally says it. She says, like,
this is it.
We're never going to get over this. And even if they fix it,
I've already missed like what all of the table setting in the first like 5-10
Do
minutes.
you restart it? And we're so stressed out at this point.
You can't be doing
so
this.
we all storm out.
We lead a revolt of audience
People
members.
start following us like Pied Piper. We made no announcement, but everyone else was starting to recognize something's wrong here. So, but we're the first to complain. But by the time we leave, there's like a big line behind us, and they basically we're like, look, we're not going to lie to you. We're not restarting the movie. We can refund you immediately. And so we're getting refunded. And Marie identifies like there's another screening starting in 10 minutes. It's also 3D high frame rate and a smaller screen. We can buy seats. We're sitting in the third row now, whereas before we had triangulated the perfect place to sit for 3D lines of sight, whatever. But we're like, okay, let's do it. We get there, we settle down, and we're like, okay, clean start. We're all sort of like knocking on wood, crossing our fingers.
This is when you text. There's some text in the chain. Like 5:50. And I'm at my holiday party and I see it and I'm like, the fuck is going on over there?
You then text us, where are you guys? And I say at the second floor concession stand getting refunds. And David is like, what the fuck is happening?
Leading a revolt.
And then also at this point, Griffin is very distressed. And so we decide that he needs a cocktail.
Right. Because this Regal theaters now have these cocktails.
Daddy needs his medicine.
These bars. These full bars, right?
I wouldn't say daddy, I would say baby.
You're right.
Baby needs a bottle. So Ben sees the bar, and I'm like, I want to sit down immediately because I don't want to miss the Barbie and Oppenheim trailer for a second time. And Ben's like, great, I will get the drinks.
Right.
I say, Ben, can you send me a photo of the menu when you get to the bar?
All right, can we go over the cocktails?
Yes. Well, first he sends me this photo. That's just the classic Regal bar menu, margarita, spiked lemonade. And right in the corner, I see the little cardboard standee of what I want. And I said, Ben, take the photo of what I clearly want to see.
Point that camera down.
The way of cocktails. This is not branded. This doesn't seem to be official. There are no Fox trademarks on this. But Regal has come up with 4 themed drinks to coincide with Avatar: The Way of Water. Spiked moon milk, deep blue sea rock candy martini, the true blue vodka lemonade. All of these are fluorescent.
And they all have rock candy stirrers.
Which they didn't give me.
I know, I noticed that.
There was spiked blue salt on the rim, but there was no rock candy stir. And what I got was the Agave Aquarita, which was
what you picked out of those. I guess it's a loser's choice here.
DeKuyper blue curacao, lime juice, and agave nectar. It was delicious. It was also so fucking potent. I think Ben can attest. At 5 times during the movie, I took a sip and then started choking. Because it felt like I was drinking like moonshine.
I couldn't tell if that was the drink or if it was popcorn.
Drink.
Okay.
Drink.
Because I do remember you coughing a lot.
But it did chill me the fuck out. And I needed to get brought back down.
Right.
And Marie, I think you said this after the movie, but it was very wise. You were like, it was actually good we had that failed experience. Because it brought us down to earth a little bit. It reset us. It got the nerves out of our system. The worst possible thing happened.
Shook your sillies out. Yeah.
And the movie starts up. The first 3 shots, the like establishing welcome back to Pandora shots, are a little flat. Like by design. I think
we were holding our breath.
Reintroduce you to 3D. And it's not until that first interior close-up, and we all just like sit back.
I'm like looking at Ray Tintori being like, are we good? Are we good? And he was like, I think we're good.
That's the great thing is we have Ray and Jordan to be able to like parse everything for us. But then the water is warm. We step in. We soak.
Can I talk about my viewing experience?
Yes,
actually,
please.
I might as well. I saw this film at the AMC Empire on 42nd Street. That's where the press screening was.
The Dolby?
The Dolby Prime.
Okay.
I had those
with the high frame rate sequences.
Absolutely.
Okay, because they're not advertising this. Good to know.
And I had those special glasses that they have for the Prime.
Oh, yes.
Where if you walk out of the theater with them on, like to go to the bathroom, it alarms.
Right.
Because they're like expensive enough that they don't want you walking out with those.
Okay, I'll make that one of my 6 viewings of this movie.
And I had a great time. I was there with David Ehrlich and various other sundry members of the press. But I was not going to the evening screening. I went to the daytime screening. The minute they had a daytime screening, I was like,
yeah.
And I saw Avatar: The Way of Water. I had a Five Guys burger beforehand.
Which of the cocktails did you have from the Way of Cocktails?
No cocktail.
I will say,
I think I had a Diet Coke.
None of the AMCs in New York City have bars right now. Some of the AMCs in
What a
other parts
shame.
of the country have MacGuffins, is what they call it.
MacGuffins. My mom's AMC in Georgetown has bar.
That's
Probably where I'm going to go see Babylon next week.
Someone tweeted at
Marie,
us
I want to be there with you.
the specialty Avatar cocktail that AMC has, which also looked pretty good.
Yeah. It did. Also, they did put in effort. More blue drinks. It was on the Reddit, I think.
Okay.
Anyway,
someone posted.
That's not important. Anyway, I saw the film
important.
and I had a great time. I do want to see it again.
Yeah.
You want to go back to Pandora?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going on Sunday
yeah,
to
you're
doing IMAX.
to IMAX Lincoln Square,
That's a very
the big
big
one.
IMAX.
I might do another IMAX this weekend. I want to try seeing it non-high frame rate 3D, although I do think this is far and away the most successful use of high frame rate.
I would agree.
I'd be curious to see the normal speed version.
Yeah.
For those who don't know, we've talked about high frame rate twice before on our Ang Lee episodes.
And we had a funeral for frames on our Patreon.
Because it seemed like that was done, a failed experiment. Cameron basically was like, no, the whole thing is you can't do it for the whole movie. Do it selectively.
Right. That is James Cameron's gambit here.
Mm-hmm. And it's 48 frames as opposed to 120.
Yeah, although isn't there all this stuff where like some elements in the frame are moving at different speeds than other elements?
Yes. So the
What a
two
maniac.
basically hacks he came up with are, it's like, well, how do you do variable speeds? The projector can't switch. And he's like, what I do is for any sequence that is quote unquote at 24 frames per second, we copy paste each frame 2 times. So the frame repeats, which makes it appear to move at normal speed.
Right. Damn.
But you're just doubling up the image. And then when the sequences are 48, you just go into regular, actual, pure. But then there's this company that I forget, who are the ones who came to him that used the re-release as the test balloon to say, like, we have figured out how to isolate different elements in the frame. If you only want to have the background moving or only have the characters moving or one character moving, so that he has a greater sense of control over what he can do with high frame rate. Whereas Ang Lee, it was like all or nothing.
I think I would put Gemini Man #1.
It's the best use of?
Yeah. Because I just don't, it's sort of like, I just don't think this needs it.
I will say though.
Not that I'm not anti, I'm fairly neutral.
Yeah.
And I should see it without to compare.
Yeah. There was a point towards the end of the movie. Because
Avatar: The Way of Water.
Avatar: The Way of Water. The first half of the film, the way he used it felt like when you see a movie in IMAX that was partially shot in IMAX.
Yeah, where it suddenly clicks into like, oh, we're in some sort of visual effects sequence, or oh, we're, you know,
and
like,
the ratio changes more than you feel that immediate shift of like, oh, now it's gone taller, and for this establishing shot or this one action sequence, now there's a new clarity, there's a new shape, all of that. Way of Water.
There's a new way. Yes.
Right. The first half of the movie, he'll use it sparingly for little blurts and stuff. And then once you go underwater for the first time, he basically says, like, underwater, everything's high frame rate.
Which is pretty
and is
dazzling.
Incredible. If anything, not to question Big Jim, I'm like, if he didn't do it once until you went underwater for the first time, it would maybe almost feel like Dorothy opening the door to Oz.
I agree. It would have been. I think it would have been more effective.
But
Might be cool, right?
Does feel like he's trying to like slowly get the audience used to it before he's going to start using it more aggressively.
Yeah, but maybe that would be good.
And then in like the last hour of the movie, he's using it in like dialogue coverage, close-ups, the exact kind of thing that seemed to foil Ang Lee.
Right.
And it starts feeling normal. This is why I think it's more successful than Gemini Man.
Sure.
Is
I
there,
don't know. Yeah,
there gets to a point where he's using it for innocuous things rather than the money shots. And I no longer was thinking about how weird it looked.
I want to go around the room here.
Yeah.
Okay.
What did you think of Way of Water?
Loved it.
Okay.
Bones, bones.
Ben?
Yeah, it was good.
Okay. I loved it as well. Marie?
I liked it.
You have, because I'm sensing reservations from the corners here.
Yeah.
Marie had a couple reservations that I think are very valid.
But what should we do now?
Can we go around again and just refresh people on what? Well, people don't know what I thought of the original Avatar, but
Okay,
Avatar, 2009.
Okay, points to me.
2009. Griffin.
Loved it. Owns bones.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, fucking rules.
I loved Avatar.
You wanted you tweeted that it should have won Best Picture over The Hurt Locker.
Yeah.
No,
I stand by that.
Marie, was that your first impression from the movie, or is it one that has grown on you?
No, it was my first impression from the movie. I saw it at, opening weekend Lincoln Square IMAX, big theater, which I will be going to again on Sunday.
How old were you when you did this?
I was in 2009. So I was
13 years younger than you are right now.
20. Yeah.
Go off.
And I really loved it.
Sucks to think about, actually.
Yeah.
We're the exact same age. It sucks to think I was I could not legally drink.
I know.
When the last Avatar.
You couldn't have gotten your agave aquarita if
I couldn't.
Yeah.
Not that any theater would be
right.
offering that kind
it was
of
illegal at that point in time. Yeah.
But no, I love the first one. I saw it again with my family the week of Christmas in Washington, and
You saw the re-release.
I saw the re-release.
Yeah.
I had not really rewatched it since 2009,
right?
Because so much of what Avatar was at the time was the in-theater experience.
Whereas I've seen it multiple times on planes.
Yeah, no, not me.
It's really good on a plane. In my
so,
opinion.
Griffin, when you earlier were like, people say Avatar's all about the visual experience, but I'm really into the relationships between the characters.
Him, by the way.
Incredible, dead on. Found dead in a ditch.
To me, that felt like I read Playboy for the articles.
I want to make it clear. I love the visuals of Avatar. All I was trying to say is that for me, the thing was never, this is pure immersive experience transporting. It was like, I like how well built this thing is. In a way. I get emotionally caught up in it, but I do feel like the things I get emotionally caught up in are the narrative and the characters, which everyone else is like dismissive of because they are obviously very broad.
Right.
He paints with the broadest brush possible, right? It is very like primal mythic storytelling. I like the visuals. The thing I never got was the I want to live in Pandora thing. Part of that, admittedly, is I'm not a nature boy.
I was about to say, you're just not outdoorsy.
Absolutely. And of all the elements, water may be the one I like the least. I don't swim. I don't like the beach, any of this shit, right? And I watched this, and it was, for me, I was like, I'm still liking everything I liked about the first movie, but I am more feeling the transportive, I just want to be in this. I could just watch them swim for 2 hours.
Do you think that's because, like, a big chunk of the movie, like at least an hour of it, there is no war? There's just swimming around.
So, yeah.
Yeah, but this film has, look, I already said this in my review, but this film has the same structure as Avatar 1.
Identical.
This
in a
is
way
my
that's
whole
fascinating.
thing with this film. I'm sitting down. I really know nothing because
they didn't make you stand.
They didn't make me stand.
And that was nice of them, actually.
That's really nice.
This was not a standing room only screening.
Good. Because Disney can basically demand anything they want.
British soccer game in the 70s where we're all just like in a pen.
Yeah.
Literal bad crowd
No, I'm
crash.
sitten down in my own seat.
Ooh, you didn't even have to share.
Was it like JetBlue where you had to pay extra to pick your own seat?
No.
Okay.
Extra leg room.
Yeah.
No, I didn't pay anything at all. This was a press screening.
Nice work if you can get it.
Obviously, there's been a trailer, and we know the things that have been talked about for years. There's kids in this movie, like things like that. But like, I really don't know. I'm really sitting down being like, is this movie going to like be shot out of a cannon and completely insane?
Right.
Like, is this going to be like a total left turn kind of like, this ain't your daddy's Avatar? Like, is does it open minute 1 with Jake Sully like getting an arrow in his head?
Is he rewriting the rules?
And then it's like 14 years later. You know, like I really have no notion of what's going on. And then the first 45 minutes of the film, I had the same tingles that I feel like everyone has when they watch Avatar 1 the first time.
And that we felt watching the rewatch of like, is this not holding
where you're
up?
like, it's a lot of like story time and like narrative setup.
It's clunky.
And
You're
it's not even
putting the weight on fucking
ton of
Worthington
voiceover
narration,
right?
To be like, here are 18 more rules of this universe.
And I'm thinking like, oh, this okay. So this is just okay. Like, is that going to be the and what with in the back of my mind, I'm like, I know how Cameron likes to build. Like, I'm not like completely giving up.
But you're like, you haven't refined any of the things that people complain about the opening of the first movie.
Right. And then the second hour hits and we're in the water.
Yeah.
And we're learning things and we're meeting creatures. And I was like, fuck, right. I know there's action coming. Like, I know there's a big war coming.
He's literally...
But I was like, I forgot this is the best part.
He's basically quantified Avatar into a genre in and of itself, or a subgenre at least, and been like, this is the structure of an Avatar movie.
Right.
And I said that, I tweeted that before the film came out.
Yeah.
That it's like, I was like, it's like an Avatar movie. And everyone was like, LOL, there's only been 2.
Right.
And I was like, you don't understand. He just like clearly, because I'm sure they wrote 40 million scripts. And
Absolutely.
He's talked about how they had like other pitches that they worked through and rejected. And I think at the end of the day, they were like, you know what? That worked.
Not only that, I mean, he's made it very clear that, like, you know, they finally make the deal to make the sequels, right? Which took a little bit after the first movie becomes the highest grossing movie in history.
Mm-hmm.
And then was like, if I'm going to do this, I want to like shoot them back to back. I want to try to replicate what Peter Jackson did. That feels like the better model to do this rather than put all this energy into one movie at a time. The problem is we don't have books to adapt. I want to assemble a writer's room to build out a whole mythology so that we can reverse engineer, plot it out all at once, have a sense of where we're going, reuse assets, whatever, right? And he basically said he puts this room together, and for the first like 2 months of the room, he's like, before we start talking about any new ideas, the job is to quantify why the first movie was successful. He was like, I want us to study the first movie and figure out the things that people respond to.
Which is funny that he's sort of like, why'd that thing work?
Absolutely.
Like that's the vibe.
But,
Like,
we'll get into it. But I think a lot of what worked about the first movie is missing from this. I don't think it's perfectly replicated. This is madness.
I can't believe it.
I don't think it's perfectly replicated. I think you have the one specific you've called out that I don't disagree with.
Well, I have 2 things. Okay.
All right, I just need to hear it.
All right.
I'm in like deep suspense here.
Yeah.
So my first thing is I missed the romance.
That's the one I
Interesting.
I accept.
Yeah. I think in all of these movies, these big epics, we've got Titanic, Last of the Mohicans, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Yes.
Dances with Wolves.
Avatar. There's got to be a love story.
And especially in an era where blockbuster films often get called out for sexless they are.
It's
Although
nice that
Avatar was called out for being too sexy. Where people are like, I don't like their hair links up.
I'm not
objecting.
I think that is so fucking cool.
Yeah,
I
it
do too.
rules.
I love it.
I wish I could do it.
Yeah. So I did feel like the focus on the kids. I feels like they're setting stuff up for movie number 2. I know who our star-crossed lovers are going to be there.
Indeed.
But I was
you're missing that. You're
missing the sweeping
the
romance.
Jake and Neytiri meet cute.
Yeah.
You moron. You don't know how to get on the horse.
But
and
when
then it's
like
kinda,
the water princess is showing up and flirting with the 2 older Sully boys, Marie was like rubbing her hands together and she was like, here we go.
Yeah, I was like, oh, here we got.
And instead,
hot,
that's
sexy
more of a
Avatar
breadcrummy
team.
thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's more of a right.
And then the other thing, and this I didn't bring up to you because I just brought this up with Ben today before you guys arrived. I liked the device in the first movie where Jake Sully, the Marine, is paralyzed. And that him being an avatar.
It's part of the freeing experience for him.
He can walk
He's
again.
got his legs again, yeah.
And I also think that's a really great way to bring the audience into this world.
Yeah.
And I know you don't have to do that anymore because we're already familiar with the world.
It's a challenge the movie has. Is
right.
That you can't,
but it also introduces the Quaritch as an avatar thing. But we don't really, I don't know. I just missed the.
I understand what you're saying.
I feel like the discovery that we have in this film is how cool the water people are.
Yeah, I mean but
I don't think that's as arresting an experience as the first movie.
Can I offer a counter?
Yes, please.
One,
David.
obviously you can't. It's hard to replicate the first movie. Really. 2, I do think there's something going on with Quaritch here where he's actually having that kind of experience without admitting it to himself.
Right.
Yes.
And that is a very interesting, fun arc for the movie to have.
But it also feels like because now he's thinking across 5 movies or 4 movies at once, right?
Sure. We're not getting it's too breadcrummy for me. Like I felt a similar way after finishing Dune, where I'm like, I can't evaluate this without seeing
That's half
part
a
2.
movie.
Yeah.
I feel less that way about this, certainly. But I do think, it's one of the reasons why I questioned to make an Avatar 2, let alone Avatar 2, 3, 4, 5, is that Jake Sully's arc is so fucking complete in the first one. It feels like.
Yes.
I think Cameron's very smart about being like, kids fundamentally change the stakes of the thing.
Yeah.
Also, if you go to different parts of the planet with different rules, you somehow take Jake back to a place of being an outsider. You once again put him in the hole. I do feel like it is impressive the way he figures out how to re-engineer some of that, right? Like taking Jake's status away, giving him new things to learn, somehow giving him outsider status again. When the first movie ends with him being the most powerful Navi, basically. Turek Makto. But what you're saying, I think, is impossible to replicate. It is the thing that is so daring about the first movie that you end it with him being like, and he is never going to be a human again. I do think,
what do you think it did with his body? Threw it in the trash?
Didn't he get like swallowed up by the little glowing things? Or
I don't know. I don't know what they do with it.
Yeah, is it like the little glowing vines?
They grow over
it.
Right.
I don't know.
And he gets reabsorbed.
What they do with Dr. Grace Augustine's body either.
They get reabsorbed into Eywa.
I think they fuck him.
You know, Griffin.
What? You're complaining there's no romance in this movie.
Yeah, romance, not sex.
David.
Mm-hmm.
David.
Yes.
Gifting is hard.
It's so hard.
It's so hard, David.
I hate it.
I hate it.
Well,
I wish something could make it easy.
Bombas.
What?
They make giving gifts easy with socks, underwear, and t-shirts that feel good and do good. They feel good because they're thoughtfully designed with the softest materials.
In what way do they do good?
For every item you purchase, Bombas donates another to someone in need.
That do be good.
Socks, underwear, t-shirts, slippers, cozy upgrades to everyday basics, the perfect gift for everyone on your list, including yourself. I recently got long underwear at Bombas.
Interesting.
Because it's chilly outside.
Yep. I've been starting to stock up on new long underwear, and I have to say I haven't found the perfect pair yet.
Maybe try a Bombas set. But obviously they've got all other kinds of stuff. Merino wool socks, Pima cotton shirts, Sherpa linings in their slippers. You can mix and match patterns with these family sets.
David, this last weekend, our own producer Ben Hosley had a Christmas party. It was a first early listening party for Slow Xmas 2022.
We were all there.
And of course, Ben keeps a no-shoe household.
That's true, yes.
And the amount of Bombas he saw at this party.
Oh my God, it was embarrassing.
Would you be surprised to hear at a party that was largely filled by people who work in podcasting, Bombas toes slipping across the hardwood floors, and everyone would just, you'd look down, you'd see a Bombas, you'd nod, you'd smile. And we just kept on all having the exchange. Alex Barron, editor on the show. Like, look at the Bombas, look at the Bombas. Everyone was so thrilled. And I said to Alex, this was true. I had just gotten back from Rochester. And I just dropped off like a Mondo bag of laundry. And I was like digging through all my drawers to find one last clean pair of Bombas for the holiday party. I didn't want to wear some shitty non-Bombas socks. Boy, did I feel good wearing that Bombas.
Great anecdote.
Thank you. I don't know. I was trying to make it personal.
No, it's very personal. Good job.
Thank you.
Also, but it's just good to know that socks, underwear, and t-shirts are the 3 most requested items. And homeless shelters and Bombas donates 1 item for everyone you buy. And obviously, Bombas, most successful company in history, Shark Tank.
Yeah, obviously.
Give the good this holiday season with Bombas. Go to bombas.com/check and use code CHECK for 20% off your first purchase. That's BOMBAS.com/check, code CHECK for 20% off. Bombas.com/check, code CHECK.
Bombas.
Avatar, The Way of Water, is set a decade, more than a decade, after the first film. Much like 2022 is set more than a decade after 2009.
Yes. A lot of things have changed.
Yeah.
He's been publishing this comic, David, Avatar: The High Ground.
Not interested.
Well, do you know what this is?
No.
Is it like fill in the blank time?
Is it like, here's
this was his original Avatar 2 idea. And then he started being like, fuck, I have too many ideas. I'm just going to zoom past this. So basically, there was an entire concept for a movie that is glossed over in this opening 15 minutes of Jake Sully catching you up on the last 10 years.
Yeah.
That he's now published in comic book form. But it does feel that way where people were like, does he have enough story for 5 Avatar movies? And then you watch this and the first 45 minutes are him breezing over what could be 5 complete movies.
Right.
Like he's in such a hurry at the beginning to just get so much shit out of the way to get you to a starting point.
Can I ask some questions about the timing of things? Like how old are their children supposed to be?
I think the oldest one is probably like, so the oldest child, of course, is called, sorry.
It's like N
Netayam.
Netayam. Okay.
You know, it's probably like, what, 14, 13?
I was going to say, the
I'm
two boys,
older.
the boys feel like 15, 14 to me.
They felt like 18, 19.
The actors might, but
okay, with the
we don't
younger
know how Navi age.
Again,
Right.
excellent point. But
Spider's the oldest.
Spider, I've got so many questions about.
Yeah. I don't know if we have answers, but you can ask them.
Yeah. Well,
He's being played by a 19-year-old actor.
right.
Yes. But also, I mean, obviously, the process these movies were very long. One of the reasons why Cameron was like the first major film to restart production during the pandemic in summer 2020 is he like wrote a letter to the New Zealand government and was like, this kid is aging so fast. If we don't get back in and finish the live action part of this in the next 2 months, everything we've shot will not cut together. And they basically were like, any crew or cast you can fit onto one plane.
Interesting.
Who all quarantined together, you have permission to start filming under strict supervision in like June or July 2020, maybe even earlier.
Right. I was shocked to find out that kid was 19. I thought he was like 27. And that was like one of my issues with the movie.
He is one of those kids who just
I'm sorry, he's 18. He's not even 19.
Okay, he must have been like 16, 17 when they were filming this movie.
He just turned 18.
Right.
Yeah, so, but
he was cast at 14. I think most of the filming happened he was 15 or 16.
That character felt like it was written for a 14-year-old.
Yes.
A lot of the butthole, like, I don't care, Dad, you know, like all that stuff feels like it should be a young teen. But this kid, I think I said to you guys last night, he looks like the teen friend of someone on Full House in 1991 being played by a 27-year-old guy named Scott.
Jack Champion's the name of the actor?
Yep.
Good name. It is not his fault.
I know.
He does just innately feel more like an adult playing a kid than an actual teenager. It's something about his voice and his face and whatever it is.
He's so ripped.
He really is jacked.
He's too jacked.
Yeah.
None of this was a problem for me. You know why?
Why?
It's set in a fucking alien world. I just don't care.
But he's a human.
I don't care.
I'm
just like, this is like a weird movie.
The
minute the movie was just like, there's a Rasta kid who we like are growing up and he paints his body blue. I was like, I love this.
Here's my thing.
I love this. This is bananas.
I conceptually love everything about Spider. This performance is the one that doesn't work for me. I have a hard time identifying what it is. Some of it might be the weird vibe that Marie's talking about that's not his fault. And I don't think he's bad, but he feels like Worthington is a lot more comfortable in this movie.
Sure.
Yeah.
And he feels like he's in the Worthington position where it's like some scenes feel forced. Some scenes he just feels a little wooden.
It's also just mixed up with how he is like has two allegiances, kind of. It's like gets muddy in a lot of places.
I don't think his performance really like dug into the duality there.
It feels a little wooden and a little surfacey to me. I don't think he is bad,
right?
But it's like the character where you would love to see someone come in with a really dynamic dynamite. It would be great to see this character pop, or at least just have an actor who has a certain energy that's grabbing you. I think he's fine. I like Spider. I want to love Spider.
Do you want to hear about Spider? I just reading this interview with him.
Please.
He started filming when he was 13.
Crazy.
And
did you guys see that picture on the internet of that football player who's like 12 years old and has a mustache?
I don't buy it. That's a hoax.
That thing's a hoax. That hadn't been said, Marie, though. From what I read about like the pandemic concerns, I would be surprised if basically anything from when he was 13 is still in the movie.
I'm saying,
I think this kid aged so fast and so dramatically that they
He started shooting at 13, and he said, basically, they were like, within 2 years, you're going to need to look good shirtless because the whole point is that you are a jungle Navi.
Yes.
You swing from trees. You have an insane physique because you have to keep up with all these guys.
Glow up.
And so, they gave him a personal trainer who basically was like, you're going to just do CrossFit and weightlifting all the time and like eat so much protein.
Yeah. It sounds like my teen years.
Kind of not good for you to do as a person at that age. Anyway,
I have no comment. You can I will say that you can basically do whatever you want to yourself at that age and probably figure it out later. One's body is more resilient back then, but anyway, That's the deal with him. Apparently,
he got to work out with Arnold Schwarzenegger a few times.
That's pretty cool.
James Cameron set them up.
James Cameron knows Arnold Schwarzenegger. He made the Terminator film.
Really?
Yes. Yeah. True Lies. He directed True Lies.
True Lies.
Oh, wow. That's so cool.
And they're friends, in addition to being trusted collaborators on set. A thing I like that I heard, there was the good Sam Worthington profile in Hollywood Reporter about sort of like what happened to him in between movies and him coming back and him sort of like...
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and he was like, I didn't handle the pressure of fame well. He had a big drinking problem. He sobered out. He sort of like found himself. And I think he's actually better in this movie than he is in the first one. I don't think he's terrible in the first one, but
I think he's good in the first
you
one.
do feel he's a lot more comfortable in this one.
Sure.
But what was I going to say? He said that it was really jarring for him when he went from Avatar to like the Clash of the Titans movies and Terminator Salvation, because he was like, Cameron is actually really good at not letting the actors at the center of his movies feel the weight of the production. And they had a quote from Cameron where he's like, I really want to make actors feel safe, and I want them to feel creative, and I want to insulate them from all this, and I really hold their hands, and I tend to them, and I listen to them and all this. For a guy who's known for being pretty brash, right?
Domineering, whatever.
Yes, whatever.
You don't think McGee's like that?
I don't know. Similarly, there's a thing I heard that I think says a lot about Cameron. One of the kids, maybe the youngest kid who plays Took, has like not been doing the interview press junket stuff.
Sure.
And people were like, is there a reason why? And the answer was Cameron specifically put it in all of the kids' contracts that they were not obligated to do any press.
Right. That girl is like 13 years old.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And he basically was like, you're going to be working on this for years. This press thing is a whole other rigmarole. This is scary and disorienting. I don't want you to be contractually obligated to do anything you don't want to do. All I have hired you to do is the movie. If you want to go to premieres and shit, you can do that and I will look out for you. I'm trying to shield you from as much of this as possible, which I think is kind of cool.
Yes. And they're not visible in the film apart from Champion.
Right.
Who plays Spider.
They're gifted
so, like,
a sense of anonymity if they
weird
want
anonymity
to.
Thing.
Yes.
So speaking about actors feeling safe and people who are older playing younger, can we talk a bit about our girl Sigourney?
We absolutely can.
Sigourney Weaver.
Sigourney Weaver plays Kiri,
which I thought was Kitty the whole time.
Well, they say have this sort of Navi accent. Magic.
Yeah.
Magic.
Navi accent. Listen to me. This was announced early. When this year. Sigourney Weaver, we always knew she would be returning to Avatar, but it would be kind of like, we'll let you know how that works.
When we did our episode 6 years ago, my prediction on Mike was, I think she is going to play the tree. I think even though they failed to transfer Grace's consciousness.
You and I both were picking up on like, look, there was this thing that happened with the tree.
It didn't stick.
So that's the dangling thread they can pick up.
Her spirit got uploaded somewhere.
But we were both thinking, she would be kind of a vague character, like one of those scenes in Star Wars where they go talk to her. Right. And she's like, hi.
They give her that scene
They do have a scene like that.
We were playing checkers and James Cameron was playing chess.
He was playing chess. He was playing like High or something.
Right.
Yeah. He was playing a whole different sport.
With like rocks.
Yeah, right. Because it was announced Sigourney Weaver will be playing a teenage character.
A 14-year-old girl. Right.
And I was like, whatever, man. Like, sure, great, love it. No studio notes for you, buddy.
When the teaser comes out and there's no dialogue really in it, there's the one young.
She has the dialogue. She's the what? How does her heart sound? Mighty.
Well, no, that was the second trailer. I'm saying the first teaser we saw before Doctor Strange. There's the shot, and you're like, that kind of looks like Sigourney. Yeah. Is he fucking doing this? Yes. And you talking about sitting down and being like, I don't know what this movie's gonna be. It is fascinating that we knew for so long. Stephen Lang is back. Sigourney Weaver's back. How? I don't know. Don't question it. This movie in the first 10 minutes devotes one sentence to each of them. It's not like any sustained mystery. And they're like, here's the deal.
But no, I truly was like
astonishing.
Because so he's like, he's in voiceover. He's like, years have passed. We've had kids. I'm like, I knew it. I knew you fuckers would have kids. You had that vibe.
You had the vibe. Two boys of their own.
Two boys and a girl.
A little girl.
And then they're like, and then there were some leftover orphans. There was the leftover orphan from the humans because you can't put babies in cryo. And I'm like, What a great concept.
Yeah.
I love that.
I love
clever bit of sci-fi.
Like, I thought you would have gone back to Earth. He's like, you can't put babies in cryo, asshole.
Great concept. Makes total sense.
Yes.
Probably true even in the vague understanding of how that might work. Cool. So there's like a human kid left over, and I'm like, oh, he thinks he's a Na'vi. Love that.
Right. He's the Tarzan boy.
Exactly.
Yes.
And then they're like, and then also there's this like weird thing where like Grace's avatar body had a baby. And I was just like, what?
So
like,
they show
stop the movie. And he's like, no, I'm not going to stop. We're going to keep going.
They show her dead avatar body.
It's not even dead. It's like comatose because it doesn't have a brain.
But they failed to transfer the consciousness into
so
it.
it's just kind of like
It's still in
a
the tank.
vessel.
They show it with a pregnant belly.
They sure
And
do.
they go like, we never quite figured that one out. Anyway, we've raised her as her own.
What?
And then like minute 12 of the movie, she's like climbing on top of the tube to talk to her mother.
Yeah.
And they're mocking her, being like, we think fucking Norm Spellman's your dad. The rudest thing you could ever say to anybody.
They are claiming, I guess, that either Norm had sex with the avatar body right before everything went down, or are they claiming that Norm had sex with like the comatose avatar body? Nobody really talks about it.
Now, somehow, I don't know how.
This is where, again, where the timing is not really, you know.
Our friends at Podcast The Ride had been, all of December, they're doing Feliz Navidad.
Yes.
The Way of
doing
Winter.
Na'vi stuff. Yes.
A month of Avatar content, which is great. And they had heard the thing that it's like Curie is the child of Grace Augustine. And before seeing the movie, we're trying to parse that, where they're like, did she fuck when she was a human? Did she fuck in the Na'vi body? If she did another Na'vi fuck her? Was it another avatar or a true Na'vi? Was a human fucking her? All this stuff. And so I'm caught up in my head about like, how are they going to fucking explain this? And I basically like that they're just like, we don't know.
We don't know. Anyway, she's here, and that's Sigourney Weaver.
And I think Marie and I agreed.
Giving a committed performance as a teen girl.
A great performance we're going to dig into a lot.
Incredible.
Marie and I agree, and I wonder if you have the same read.
Yeah.
I feel like Curie is like the reincarnation of the tree, basically. Yeah. In the failure to transfer.
She's Eywa.
Eywa is her mother.
Right.
That's how I think of it.
Yeah. Right.
And I'm sure that will be, you know, their fodder in sequels.
No one fucked the Grace Augustine
We can
avatar.
also stop saying fuck.
I'm going to say fuck a couple more times.
When Na'vi reproduce.
Yeah.
Is it through the braids?
We don't know. No, I don't think so.
We don't.
Okay.
They have genitals.
Right.
She's pregnant. She has a womb.
Right.
So there's, you know.
The braids
she's not giving birth out of the braids.
The braids are another, because they're not fucking the
When
banshees.
they join their braids together, I think it's just a very sexy experience.
They're not fucking the trees.
But I kind of thought they were.
No.
That's part of it.
That's why it's cool.
But it's like, what if
they're
you
like
could
mounting the
what
banshees?
if you could have sex with each other and at the same time make like a weird mental connection?
Right. Yeah, that's so cool.
Exactly.
But they're two separate things happening simultaneously.
Did they ever show toilets?
They don't get into that.
They never get into it. That'll be the fourth movie.
Jake Sully's like, man, I gotta take a shit.
The third one is.
And he's like,
let me show you how that out of his hair.
Squeeze
it. She has, you know, the women.
They have
Na'vi have breasts.
Yes,
you know, like
they breastfeed.
I believe someone in like some scientist back in the day was like that would not make sense given how like the biology of this works. And to me, and James Cameron was like, look, the girls have boobs. What do you want from me? You know, I don't know. Like there's certain sacrifices I'm making for visual storytelling that maybe he shouldn't have. I don't know.
But the heavy rumors that the third movie is called The Seed Bearer. That has long been the rumored title.
This is correct.
Which makes me wonder if we're getting into all of that more. But yes, I think we all have the same interpretation that something happens in the process of trying to transfer Grace's dying consciousness into the Avatar.
It's an Anakin Skywalker
along with the mother
situation.
tree dying and them connecting to Eywa on something where
it's Jesus.
Right.
Well, the Anakin Skywalker thing is obviously a little inspired by old JC.
But also, I don't know if you ever heard the tale of Darth
wait a
Plagueis the Wise.
No, I don't want to talk about him.
Okay.
But no, and like, but this is the thing. I was worried it was going to be more of a Rise of Skywalker situation where like Palpatine's like, I had children. And you're like, bitch, you had children. How did you have when did you go to bed with someone? Did you take a shower before? Like, you immediately start thinking about mechanics. And it's
when they set up,
don't think about it.
Yes. When they set up she doesn't know who her father thing is, I got worried. And the more it became clear, like, no, she is like a manifestation of all these things. I felt such a sense of relief. I like this character so much. It is such a good performance.
It is an incredibly winning performance.
It also was the most exciting aspect of the film to me to think about like future implications for the technology.
Yes.
where we've talked a lot about actors doing
Yes.
de-aging.
Mhm.
I mean, we saw the Indiana Jones trailer before.
Which, look, the brief glimpses in the trailer, that is far and away the most successful de-aging
Yeah.
I've ever seen
Yeah.
in anything. It actually seems to work. We'll see if it holds up when he talks. But this is more interesting.
Yeah, it clearly was her face on a blue body de-aged, and it looked great.
And she did all the stuff. She did mocap acting. She learned to dive.
I kept thinking about her on set doing like child acting. It felt like very like acting exercise.
This is what
and I loved that. I was like, oh, she probably had so much fun playing around with this.
A lot of the actors who have done mocap, like established film actors for decades who then do one of these mocap volume movies, say like, it's great. It takes you back to your experimental theater days. You're in a black box. You're only relating to the other actors. You're not thinking about the camera. And suddenly you can play all these things that you couldn't literally play on camera. And you do feel that thing. She talks a lot about in interviews that he showed her the first design for the character. And she like looked like just a slightly younger Sigourney. And she was like, no, she should be awkward. Her proportion should be off. Her limbs should be gangling.
Right.
I was a weird tall teen who didn't know how to move my body.
Right.
Like, I want her to be more uncomfortable. And you can tell Sigourney is relishing the chance to move her body in that way, in a way that no one would ever let her literally play on screen. On stage, she could do it, no one would question it, would go, wow, what a good performance.
FYI, 14 years. That is the definitive answer. Just looked it up. This is at 14 years after Avatar.
Right. Well, she's basically...
So it's in real time.
Essentially.
Yeah.
And the oldest kids, if we're assuming Kiri is kind of the same age as the oldest boy, are 13, 14.
13, 14. Okay. They're a little... It seems like these boys develop early in the Avatar. You know, Pandora, those boys develop early.
I don't know what that's a reference to.
All these boys seem older.
Kind of. What do you mean, though? Like, what do either of you mean?
I don't know.
What do you want them to have body hair? They don't have body hair in Avatar.
I don't want them to have body hair.
They seem mature.
They seem mature. And also, in my head, I'm thinking about romance. And I'm like, well, it's got to be the teens have to fall in love.
But how old is Neytiri?
In the first,
you don't have an answer to that question because you don't know.
I thought she would have been like 18, 19.
47.
But this doesn't come up because it's all nonsense.
But Spider being a human is really fucking with my perception
He's
of
a
things.
teen.
We want permission to want to see a romance.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So, and
have a cute teen romance.
It feels like they're setting up a Kiri Spider
to all the boys,
right?
Yes.
When this is what I said
Pandora.
after we got out of the screening, where I'm like, God, Spider's too old. He's got to be a 14-year-old kid, which I guess he was, but he didn't look like that to me. But I'm like, well, if he's gonna have a love scene with Sigourney Weaver in a mocap suit, he can't be a 13-year-old.
Yes.
He's got to be of age.
He needs to. It's the Jacob thing.
Yeah.
He needs to like be a little bit of a man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like her bangs.
I like everything about her. I
Adorable
think she's so
bangs.
cool.
She rules.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just gonna leave all of that.
Yeah.
And just kind of push it out to sea on a big ice floe.
A lot of these are, as we said, dangling threads about what he
Certainly,
has
there's more coming
in store.
And it's the first time he's ever done that.
Yes.
Obviously, he's made sequels.
Mm-hmm.
He's made 2 of the great sequels.
Yep.
Aliens and Terminator 2.
Mm-hmm.
But Terminator 1, you know, kind of has that vague, like, who knows what the future holds thing,
Yes.
but, like, it's not made with the intent. This is the first time that he is doing any sort of serialized thinking. Like, you know, this film is ending, and I'm like, oh, there's a lot, like,
This
to be
was the whole
revealed.
thing. We have to design all of these
but
together.
that's a risk,
Absolutely. And
as you guys were saying.
he's now basically talked about, like, all of 3 is in the can.
Yeah,
They've shot
3's coming out, no matter
Pieces
what.
of 4.
This thing could make $8, and I think they probably still like. Well,
It's
we might as well
3's done.
release
It's
3.
coming out in
Right.
2 years like clockwork.
Right.
It's done. They've shot some pieces of 4 and
Yeah.
basically none of 5. And he basically has said, like, if this flops, 3 will come out, but we maybe don't make
That'll
4 and
probably
5.
be it. Right.
I have designed this in that, like, 3 kind of has an off-ramp closing point, and then 4 and 5 reinvent the thing a little bit. So it won't feel incomplete if we only get to 3. But you definitely feel like a lot of this is setting up stuff for 3. Not in a way that I think is... I sometimes find frustrating with middle chapters, especially in these we always planned it as a trilogy kind of series. I do think this is a full meal on its own.
Agree.
But there's certain things like the Quaritch arc what Kiri becomes, Spider, where you're like, these are leaving us on an ellipses. Yeah.
So they live. The Sully family lives with the Amitakaya, the clan, the forest clan we all know, in the trees. They live way up there in the Magic Mountains, the floating mountains now, right? Not in Home Tree.
No.
R.I.P.
One of the greats.
Salute. Bless up.
Let's pour one out.
Yeah, pour one out.
Yeah.
And they have kids, and things are fine.
The flash photo of the Sully family.
Whatever, man. I love it.
The eyes
they're
being
like,
blown
look,
out. Yeah.
we're Na'vi, and then once in a while, Jake's like, look, I know I'm a Na'vi now, but can we do this
Some of
dumb
this
human
human
thing?
stuff.
Once in a while.
It made me
okay,
think of
Jake.
the end of Old Dogs.
Oh, yes. They should all have crazy old dogs.
Have crazy faces.
People
But then
keep believing.
one day they see something in the sky, big bright flashes, and that's right, the humans
Jake
are
says
back.
The
Another
sky
star.
people have returned.
They're giant ass fucking ships decelerating. It's pretty cool,
Yeah.
actually. The zoom up there.
They
with,
come out in their amp suits. And it's like, these humans were never going to stay away for long.
No.
They make a new city called Bridgehead City. Giant,
by just burning everything down.
Yep.
And one of the people among these, these new folk, of course, we've got Edie Falco.
Of course.
We love to see her.
General exposition.
In a stilt suit that is very cool.
I knew she was in the movie. I did not know who she would be playing.
I knew she was playing a bad guy. I knew she was playing
The minute
a
I
boss.
saw Edie Falco in a mecha suit,
It is pretty bananas.
lost my shit.
Drinking coffee. She is using her controls to have the robot arm hold a giant coffee
And why
cup, which she
not?
pours through. It is great. This is the galaxy brain shit that only Cameron has the
Right.
balls to
But
do.
I think it was you or someone else last night who brought up the humans' reliance on coffee.
Yes.
But it is interesting because isn't that like a resource that we mine from
Absolutely.
indigenous communities?
We did. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not like coal or something. I mean, you can plant more coffee, obviously,
And
but yes,
absolutely,
it is a
like Grace also has her like fucking cigarette vice in
Yeah.
the first movie, which
Yeah.
is similarly like a thing from the earth that we have
Right.
like, you know.
Yeah.
I do. It's just it's a recurring motif.
Yeah.
These people in the RDA fucking downing their coffee smugly.
Yes, it is. I mean, I think it's partly just Cameron loves that kind of old school, storytelling. Like, we're introducing Grace, she wants a cigarette. It's like, I get this.
Mhm.
This is like kind of a hard bitten lady who, and the same with the coffee.
But
it's like,
I agree with Marie. I do think it has a little bit of a deeper thematic. Yeah.
sure, but I also just think,
Right. They're
likes the
they're
visual.
easy character signifiers too. You know
Love
exactly
the smell
who
of
this
napalm in
person
the
is.
morning, etc.
I mean,
right.
he likes, this is the thing people dig him for, but he likes relying on cliches and tropes
Yes.
as shorthand because he has so much fucking world building to do
Right.
Yeah.
that it's like, look, if I can get you to understand what type of character this is, this gives me the time to set up the things that are more complicated or allow you to spend an hour just swimming rather than really having to build a nuanced
David's
backstory.
pretending to float right now.
So they show up, and of course, along with Edie Falco, who I could watch a whole movie about her
Yes.
just running this base, is Colonel Miles Quaritch.
Okay.
He's
Now,
back, baby.
what a good explanation. This whole time I've been like, how do they fucking explain this? He wakes up in this Na'vi body and they play him a video that's Quaritch being like, look, if you've seen this,
The video is so good.
it's so
He's
good.
like, look, I'm not gonna die, but
Yeah.
you're making me do this
These
video.
fucking pussies are making me back my consciousness up into the cloud. That's basically this Na'vi body wakes up and is an iCloud backup of Miles Quaritch.
Right.
And the RDA is like, look, you want to take this big, dramatic, theatrical grandstand against the Na'vi, go to war with them? That's fine. Let's back you all up. So if this doesn't work, you all come back as giant, tall, blue people and we do it our way. So all these grunts are waking up. Here's a big question we debated.
Yeah.
Do you think the Na'vis or the soldiers are built with their tattoos on, or do they, upon waking up, going, my tattoo is a key part of my personality, please reapply it?
My guess is the second.
Interesting. I thought they were just.
But I don't
They
think
were
tattoos
formed with
work
the
that
tattoo.
way.
I agree.
They're not like
But what if in the future
maybe
the tattoo is now part of our
designer engineering,
then that's fine.
DNA makes
that's fine. I'm on board with that. Right. But obviously that is not textually established.
But you did notice that he didn't have the scars, right?
He doesn't have the scars.
Right.
I mean, he doesn't. He is a baby.
He's a baby.
In one way, he is Miles Quaritch, all the same memories up to before his death, up to the day before he died. But in another way, he's a brand new person.
I like that it's kind of a prestige thing where you're like, this guy both is and isn't.
Exactly.
He understands that a lot of his sense of self is
filled with human resentment, but he is not human.
Yeah.
Right.
He is father to Spider. Spoiler alert. Although anyone can figure that, but he's actually
not. And when
not.
he says that shit, he's not bluffing. He's not being an asshole. I think he's conflicted.
He's working it out in his own head because it's complicated.
Yes.
The other guys are stupid. They're just like, whoa, we're Na'vi now. All right. They don't have a lot going on.
You weren't excited to see Privates Pike and Wainfleet back?
Sure.
I love their wraparound sunglasses.
Oh, yeah.
Great
sunglasses.
Sunglasses
I just love
incredible.
These tacky Na'vi bros.
I know that they're like, we're Na'vi now, but I got my Oakleys. Like, come on.
Give me my
and then the lady Marine with her bubble gum.
Yes.
Oh.
Great.
The video is the only time we see Giovanni.
Yeah, it is the only time we see Giovanni, who I'm sure was like de-aged for the video because he looks exactly the same.
Yeah, they clearly do the same with Sigaruni as well in the video and when Curie talks to her. Yeah, very well done. Giovanni Ribisi showing up in the background of a voice memo, a video memo for 30 seconds.
Look,
gets single card billing.
I would love to see
probably gets paid twice as much as I've ever paid for anything in my entire life.
No doubt about that.
I just was doing the math while watching it. And good for him.
But he may be in another one.
I'm guessing.
Knows? Like maybe he shows up in the third meeting. All right, you guys are fucking up. Like, come on, I'm here to fix things.
I would love to see him back. We all know.
Because then he could be older.
I love Parker Selfridge.
Me too.
One of the great characters of cinema. Evil industrialist Parker Selfridge. Loves cheddar. His vice.
Yes, exactly. But of course, a thing we don't know and is not revealed until the third act of this movie, basically, or the end of the second act, is that unobtainium, that shit is old news.
We've moved on.
They don't even care about that anymore. I mean, maybe they do, and maybe they're still getting it, but it's kind of like, sure.
We've got some new currency,
They have figured out, I'm just going to say it now, that the basically brain matter of the whale species that lives on this planet.
Spaceball brain juice. Yeah, just call it what it is. Spaceball brain juice.
Makes you immortal.
Yes.
It's the fountain of youth.
It's the fountain.
Which I truly love because I wasn't really thinking about it. And then, of course, I'm realizing in the movie, I'm like, why are they hunting the whales, though? What's going on here? And when the guy's like, that stuff, and I'm like, he better not be about to say, like, that it's a clean fuel. Like, that's boring. And he's like, that makes you immortal.
It's vanity.
That is a real world analog, though, because we do kill whales for makeup.
Yes. Ambergris, their little special stuff.
But, you know, a movie I like a lot that James Cameron was involved in, Terminator Dark Fate, where some people felt like this is annoying and cynical because it undoes any sense of success from Terminator 2. They didn't stop Judgment Day, right?
It's the whole problem with doing a Terminator sequel.
Of course.
To a great Terminator
what
sequel.
I think he does well in that movie, what Cameron did as a writer and producer and sort of organizing the story for that thing, and I think it's a thing that similarly Lana Wachowski did very well on Matrix Resurrections that I like, is it doesn't feel like this flip kind of like, I don't know, it didn't work. They're both getting at this thing where it's like, stop that, but you know the basic fucking impulses of human beings. We don't 100%. Learn from our lessons. We repeat history. So in Terminator Dark Fate, it's like, yeah, you stop Judgment Day. And then guess what? A new company, a different company, Cyberdyne didn't activate Skynet.
Yeah, but someone else figured it out.
Someone else fucking did it. And similarly in this, it's like, the unobtainium thing is over. We're never going to stop trying to mine this planet. And this one, more than in the first one, they start acknowledging, like, we all know Earth is fucked.
Well, I was about to say this. That's the other thing. Falco's very clear about that.
Right.
Like, we need to colonize this planet because Earth is bad. Now, Jake
First,
does
we want to get the resources and bring them back to Earth. But longer term plan, we need to live here.
Jake does say in the first movie when he hooks up with Eywa, if you remember before the battle, where he's like, my world, you know, it's broken. It's not green anymore. It's not nice. So you have that sense in the first film, but this one much more explicit where it's like, this is not just some offshore.
Humanity's on a 100-year plan to fully move to this
place we can live here, even though obviously they can't breathe the air. So I don't know what the plan is there. But my guess is terraforming or something insane like that.
Yeah.
Anyway. That's what they're doing. They're there. And so there begins the sort of first act action stuff, which is that Jake and company become like kind of a insurgency cell. Like they're guerrilla fighters. They're disrupting RDA supply lines. They blow up a train. They, all that shit.
The other part of it too is that like Quaritch wakes up and immediately is like, Sully!
Right.
Like his overriding emotion is, I hate that guy. I do find it interesting that he doesn't remember that Neytiri is the one who really actually kills him.
Because he doesn't know. It doesn't happen to him.
Right. But Sully was obviously his main rival. So he's got this personal vendetta against, like, I understand the marching orders I have from the company, but also I just want to fucking kill Jake Sully for myself.
Correct.
So target on Jake Sully's head. Anything he's trying to do as a leader and as a father is greatly compromised by the fact that he's putting everyone around him in danger.
There's a little of that.
Yeah. By his very existence.
Right. They're always going to have a target on their head.
Yeah.
His kids will always be in danger because they can be used against him.
It's Cameron's running on empty.
But there's also, yes.
They were the Weather Underground, and now River Phoenix can't go to music school.
But then there's also this sort of thing of like, Jake runs his family like a military unit because he's a Marine. Like that is how he kind of understands things, right?
Yes.
His kids call him sir.
Yes.
He's not like an unloving father, but there's like, he seems to struggle with discipline, right? Like it's kind of like, he's like, why won't they just do what they're told? And they're teenagers. He doesn't get that. It's all very cute and interesting. He's a fairly flawed dad.
This is
which
where
the movie is about. It's not like the movie's ignoring that.
I would argue it becomes James Cameron's most personal film ever. A take I've seen other people have.
Yeah.
Did you read, I think it was in the Empire long-form interview with him, this thing about the Cameron family meeting?
Oh my God, I'm already depressed, but go ahead.
This is good.
No, I'm not. Yeah. I'm not.
Yes, but it's going to hit like a ton of bricks, okay? The structure of his family is very similar to the structure of this movie. Basically, I think
4 kids, I believe, over.
He had 2 kids with Susie Amos' current wife.
Yes.
Susie Amos has 1 or 2 kids from a previous marriage. James Robards. Is that his first name? Am I getting it wrong? Sam Robards. Sam Robards. Sorry.
AI artificial intelligence.
And then they have the oldest child is the child that he had with
Galen Hurd.
Linda
Hamilton. Not
right.
Yeah.
But all those kids lived under the same roof for a long time, right? This sort of like built family. Mm-hmm. Yes. He goes and makes the first Avatar movie. A very intensive process. Takes years, is wildly successful.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, I run my family like a military operation. I run it like a business. Everyone has to speak to each other with radical honesty. I don't believe in like just saying things to spare people's feelings. We have to be direct to each other because I have no room for inefficiency or whatever.
Super chill.
Right? And he's like, that's how I operate. I finish Avatar. I come back home to decompress. And my wife is like, James, we have been waiting for you to be done. We understand you've been busy, but we're overdue for a family meeting. And he's like, okay, what's up? And they're like, we have some gripes with you. Here's your system. We're turning it back on you.
Airing your
Kids,
grievances. Yes.
Floor is yours. And they were like, you're a shitty dad.
Sure. Right.
You're a shitty dad and an asshole.
Right.
You barely have time for us. And beyond that, you only know how to relate to us in telling us what you would do and how you would do it. You do not relate to us as people.
Stunning that that's James Cameron's vibe as a dad. Can't believe it.
Yes.
And also they probably were like, stop going underwater, you freak.
Right. We don't die.
Well, that. Too.
Right.
But also don't go away for months on end to fucking
and
go
risk
down the
your life in the
Marinara
process.
Trench.
Be like, I'll be gone for 18 months if I ever make it back from the deepest, darkest parts of the sea, the belly of the earth. And Sigaruni...
Mariana Trench.
Yes.
That's what it's called.
Sigaruni has talked about, like...
To be clear, he's mispronouncing her name deliberately, guys.
It's
just
a funny
FYI.
bit.
It's
I forget who created it originally.
a million years ago, yes.
But she has said, like, how radically different he was on this movie than any time she's worked with him in the past.
She's obviously worked with him twice before.
And he's been like, I kind of learned how to become a nicer person in between Avatar and Avatar 2. My children, like, really got through to me.
It's been 13 years.
Made me reassess my life.
He does seem chill in a way that he has not before. I'm not saying I know anything about the man. But this press tour, he'll take his snipey little funny shots at like Marvel movies and all that, and you'll be like, Jim, you rascal, but like that's fine.
He's a little more
but in general, he does seem a little blissed out, like considering he's been working on these
talked about
things.
Like, I've learned that I can still be demanding and exacting about what I want, but I can also get those things out of people by being nice to them.
Right.
Whereas I previously thought the only way you could do that was through intimidation. Anyway, all of the Jake Sully arc stuff in this.
I do think he's poured a little of that himself.
A lot.
A lot.
But yes, the Jake Sully certainty of, I know what I'm doing the right thing. And basically getting to the point where the family's like, you need to chill out. You are causing problems.
That's what sort of is building to. But like, because I don't know how you guys felt, but when Jake is like, we got to go. We got to go.
Yeah.
We got to leave the Omitikaya. Got to leave this place because they're always going to be chasing us.
I cannot be Turek Mukto anymore.
I resign. Yeah. This guy here, Jimmy the Navi, he's a great guy. He's going to be in charge now.
I renounce my wish.
I love how there's just like there's that guy who's like, huh? You're the chieftain now.
I asked this question last night because I remember Jake bonding with the big banshee.
Yeah,
Turek,
yeah. Right, was a big deal in the first one.
Correct.
So this guy just gets grandfathered in?
No. Jake doesn't even ride Turek. Jake's got his regular guy that he still rides.
Well, then who's riding Turek?
Nobody. You don't
Turek's
fucking
wild.
ride Turek. That guy is scary.
Marie, there are two different titles that Jake Sully has, right? Okay. One is the title he essentially inherited from Wes Studi of like the leader of the clan.
He's the chieftain.
Right. He passes that title on to the Dave of this universe. Yeah. I want to see Avatar 3 be about Sam Worthington playing a milquetoast guy from a small town who they're like, you look kind of like Jake Sully. Do you want to fill the role? And there's a Navi Franklin Jella who's like, stick to the script. That's what I want to see. But Turek Mukto, the title is over. He's like,
yeah, you don't get to be that unless you are Rider of the Last Shadow.
There hadn't been one of those in generations, and I resign my title. No one is that.
I thought he was giving that title to the new
viewer
now. And I'm like, that is unfair.
He gives the other title. He gives like the chieftain.
Right. But like when he's making this decision, my point is, I was kind of like, this is a bad move because what's going to happen is what happens in the movie. Like, they're just going to find you wherever you go anyway. You might as well fight.
Right.
And so much of the movie is building to Neytiri being like, we have to stop doing this. We have to just fight. Yeah. But at the same time, is he right?
But they're traumatized after the destruction of Home Tree. They probably don't want to put their people through that again.
Right. And you know, it's fine.
Yeah.
But also, essentially, they move to like Canada. It's like they live in Florida and they move to Winnipeg.
Yes.
Because they like show up, to the Ocean Clan and like, hey guys, you're the Ocean guys, right? Can we hang out here? Yeah. Like, we're sorry.
Yes.
Right? Like he's moving to a whole other country.
Yes.
That's sort of the vibe.
It's the Simpsons going to Alaska.
I would say it's less Canada, more like going to New Zealand or
well, exactly. I was
Hawaii,
just doing drastic shift.
Which
you're right.
By the way, is another thing that happens in between Avatar and Avatar 2 is James Cameron moves to New Zealand, takes his whole family there, and chills the fuck out,
and makes this entire movie there, obviously, and all the sequels. So they go to the Metkaina clan.
Yes. Now it takes a while to get
45 minutes
happen to get to the water.
Yeah.
I think more than that.
Maybe an hour.
Yeah, it felt like that was like the first third of the movie.
Yeah.
I think it's an hour and change.
Well, you didn't want to get a cramp.
Most of the movie is with the Metkaina.
I'm just saying, because I know when we walked out of the first screening where the things went wrong, at minute 35, you're still in Jake voiceover filling you in.
Yeah, we didn't
Then you have the extended sort of raid, train, sequence, whatever. I think it's basically like an hour 15 where they go to the water. Because I remember it being deep enough in where I was like, oh, right, this movie's about water. This is the main location we're actually going to live in now for the next 2 hours.
But I do love, they show up, and this is new, right? I didn't know this. They have 5 fingies. And that marks them as different from regular Navi.
Established in the first movie, but never called out.
Right. I didn't know that.
It's one signifier between the avatars and the true Navi is they have the human number of digits.
Human hands, and Navi, I guess, only have 4 fingers.
They also have longer fingers. They have Mickey Mouse hands, but with long ass fingers.
I mean, good for them.
I guess they're more like Jack Skellington hands.
Yes, but I just love that they're showing up. We know nothing, which James Cameron is really good at this.
Yes.
At just being like, don't worry, we'll fill in as we go. Same with things like the whale stuff.
There's that one moment in the first movie where Jake Sully's like, I had to unite all the clans.
Yes,
and you
mentioned
see him just fly to 3 clans and go like, hey, and you don't hear what he's saying. Right.
All right, let's see you later.
You know there are these other communities, but he hasn't fleshed these out at all for us.
And only dorks think about this. I think 99% of people who saw Avatar 1 was like, all Navi live in the forest.
Right. This is the
entire
community.
Even though there was the vague implication, like, no, there's water Navi, there's mountain Navi, there's, name a place. There's one of those.
Desert.
Tundra,
fire Navi.
We talked about this.
Navi.
Yeah, we want either underground mole people Navi.
Cool.
or desert Navi.
We don't want not either. We have 5, 7
You're right.
movies
Right.
to go.
Right.
We want all of these.
Yeah.
I want
Right.
worm Navi.
There's definitely I was browsing the Avatar wiki. There's all kinds that have already been established and all the bullshit that can clearly be dispensed with.
I think you can almost argue that the
video games and
the
such.
clan in the first movie is like the Air Clan, right? Because they're like rooted in the Banshees, the Flying Mountains, obviously the
there
tree and
is a
whatever.
more Air Clan than them.
Really?
Yes, the Omindakaya are the forest clan.
Okay,
They're
specifically.
forest. The big Air Clan, and I want to look this up.
Let me just fucking blue sky here. We want like subterranean mole people, Navi, who
That
are
would be
saying
cool.
maybe they like glow bright
Or have
green.
like giant eyes.
Correct.
Like,
Yeah. But I also want to learn more about like mushrooms, fungus,
Yes.
like all that.
Sure.
Great call.
Why
Yeah.
not?
Bugs.
As much as Ben disavowed
Yes.
being a dry
Yes.
guy.
The Kekunan clan.
Okay.
The greatest banshee riding clan of them all.
Wow.
Known for their fast reflexes and bright, boisterous colors, the Kekutan love nothing more than to leap and dance from one floating mountain to another.
I like it.
So that's like probably, more of a banshee focused clan,
Cool.
I guess. I don't know.
Jordan Fish pitched Avatar: The Gust of Dust.
So that's like desert.
The Desert Clan, right? And I
Sure.
want fucking Fire Navi,
Ooh, Fire Navi. That's cool.
right?
That'd be
With like
fun.
fucking red stripes.
Avatar, the Eternal Flame.
Let's see. There's also apparently the Olangi clan who are migratory. They're nomadic. They
Okay.
move from
All right,
place
those
to
those
place.
have to be our,
verse.
those have to be our.
Yeah, they're verse.
But those should be our desert guys.
There's the
Yeah.
Reitanu clan
Like
who live in
camels.
arid highlands.
Oh,
Uh-huh.
And they are more farmers than
Okay.
hunters.
Okay.
Sound boring.
Yeah.
You sound like the kind of guys who get their asses kicked in that one.
I'm looking here. There's the Jones clan, which is like gated housing communities. They sort of have like NIMBY energy, and they're just like, just give me my space, give me my little McMansion.
No, and of course, again, all of this can, I'm sure, just be like dumped because I think this is all from like video games and comic books mostly. But I like the Takami clan are kind of like, they're like the religious, they're like the keepers of Eywa knowledge, right? Like, because I love that idea.
So
that you would meet
Kiri's
some kind of
gotta
like
go
priest type
on
guys.
on a voyage to them
right.
in one of these movies
Yes.
to learn to become, head priestess.
Maybe meet the
of-
seed bearer. Maybe that's who the seed bearer is.
Yeah.
Someone's got to be bearing that seed,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Can I say something? I know we've passed this part in the movie, but I
No,
do want to
whatever.
shout this out because when it happened, I turned to Ben and Griffin and I was like, I cannot believe he just did that. When we first meet the teen sons of Sully, Jake, and Neytiri,
Yes.
and-
yep.
and there's like a Jake voiceover line. He's like, I got so fluent in
Well,
Navi.
we have to talk about this. It sounds like English.
It
to me.
sounds like English,
Yeah.
and
No.
then the rest of the movie is in English.
I mean,
but it's implied that they're actually speaking.
No, they are. It's not implied. That's. It was a huge
like-
question for me.
Right.
I cannot
was like,
believe he did
They
that.
built an entire Navi language.
Uh-huh.
Everyone in the movie speaking Navi.
A lot of the dialogue in the first movie happens in subtitles. The only reason there's so much in English is because
Because
he
they have
spends
to
a lot of the
speak
movie
English
speaking
for
to
him.
humans,
Yeah.
and they have to
You know,
speak
they
to
have
him.
to speak like sky people because he won't
Right.
understand.
This movie barely has human characters in it.
Exactly. My fear was I was like, he's not gonna.
Are they
do
just
an
going to
entire
forget
movie
about
in Navi, right?
Yeah.
No. I thought it would be the other way
Interesting.
because like James Cameron does love his, you
Yeah.
know, his worlds.
No, I saw. I mean,
and I love that they're like pretty quickly. They're like, anyway.
And the subtitle dissolves.
It does. It's amazing. It's really clever. I think.
Yeah.
I think it's a really good
I-
story choice.
I just think he's so smart about which things fall into who gives a shit category where you're just like, this is the full amount I need to explain this. I'm doing it this way because it makes it easier for you to watch.
Right.
It makes this film less alienating. I've come up with an explanation in the body of the film that supports it, and then just go with it.
It also had me wondering the entire movie, like what the Navi term is for bro and cuz,
They'll
Yeah.
keep saying it.
because they keep saying.
Although that's the thing, you do know that they don't speak Navi well, because Spider has to be their translator.
No,
when
he's,
the
she's
grunts,
saying
No,
the
like the
teens. The
teens.
teens
No, I
are
know,
always like,
I
hey,
know.
fuck you guys.
but I'm saying the grunts say bro a lot too.
That's true.
Yeah, but
well,
the
they're
kids-
They're
speaking
saying
English.
human bro.
Yeah.
No, I know. That's what I was
Yeah,
trying
no,
to say.
but the
Sorry.
kids are
We're
like,
confusing threads.
Yo,
Yeah.
bro, you want to step to me right now, bro?
Yeah.
Like, let's take this outside, bro. And I'm
I
like,
mean, we know that they have a word for moron. Scone.
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 go.
That's in the first movie. So
Yeah.
yeah, maybe they have kind of a colloquial dialect.
I
don't
wish
know.
that they said full on cousin and not just cuz.
'Cause.
Because,
Yeah.
like, I just want to continue the vibe of the bear.
Oh yeah, well, but the bear owns cousin. Now. That's true. The the bear actually has that all to itself. Bear should cross over with. There should just be. I kept doing that, like with Game of Thrones. I was like, my new Game of Thrones show is just gonna be. Guy has to open a restaurant. His brother died. Just to do that in every world.
Speaking of Game of Thrones, I thought that there was a lot of House of the Dragon energy with the teen brothers.
I guess there's a little bit of that, of this sort of like the
Jason Luke
you know,
thing.
the crown looms, right? Like
and then you've got the rival brothers that are like the bad boys.
Look, I'm going to spoil something right away.
Okay.
Not right. Well, now.
Yeah,
not
sure.
right away.
Okay.
We've been recording for like 40 hours.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm watching the film and I'm a little alarmed that I don't really know the difference between the two kids. I'm not alarmed in terms of like my personal safety. I feel safe.
One's
and
got a
comfortable.
ponytail.
But I was just like, James Cameron's usually pretty good at kind of like giving me distinct guys
the two
that I
boys
can.
are so close in age.
They're close in age.
They look so similar. They have very similar personalities.
They're Navi. Like, am I supposed to be really like, you know, I can't even. Obviously, there's the younger son. I'm getting more of his arc because. He's disappointing his dad.
Yes.
He's kind of a little easily led into, you know, being in trouble. Then the older son, I'm like, who is he? Like, is there anything here? And then about 90 minutes into the movie, I was like, oh, he's dead.
He's dead meat.
I just immediately clicked and I was like, oh. Because like I thought watching this, I think you've talked about it. I was like, are they going to kill off Jake Sully? Are they going to kind of do the rude?
Yeah.
Sam Worthington, sorry, your time is up. Hollywood says no more, so you actually have to die to make some stakes here.
Yes.
And then quickly I realized, like, no, this movie is very invested in Jake Sully. Jake Sully's not going anywhere.
That having been said, at the end of the film,
sure, at the end of the film, I'm wondering if anyone's.
I truly believed it, and I would have felt like if you kill him at this point, it's not rude. You've sort of vindicated him.
Yeah, but I knew they wouldn't. I knew because the son had already died. I knew they wouldn't give us 2 deaths.
Our buddy Jordan Fish made a great
but
point.
I just immediately I was like, oh fuck, this kid who I don't know anything about, he's doomed.
I think that's
too boring.
I think we should have known a little bit more.
You think so? I don't know.
I just think they're a little bit interchangeable, and then it gets to the point. The moment where you realize the older brother is going to die is the moment where the younger one starts developing an actual personality.
Oh, I don't agree with that. I think the younger one's personality is very clear.
Wait,
the older one has no personality.
That's what I'm saying, David.
I kept getting
I'm saying when you realize
don't mean literally when you think he's going to die, like when he's been shot. You mean like when it's kind
I'm
of
saying
dawning.
when the younger brother starts getting meat put on the bones,
I was like, I see. This is my character. The other
once
character
he's
doesn't
bonding
matter.
with the whales and everything, I'm like, this guy's now become a character. Right. I care about him. I can pluck him out of the lineup. Right. The older one is shifting further into the background.
The little
girl
is
cute. I mean,
is a cute little girl.
She sticks in the head.
And the older brother is the one who's like, oh, why are you?
Right.
Can I ask because I thought they looked alike too. Who is the hot reef girl into which brother? The younger brother or the older brother?
The older one, right? Because she's holding his dead body when he dies.
No, she's into the younger one.
She's into the younger one.
Really?
Yes. They have the forbidden romance.
I also felt like she was kind of pitting them against
the older one
other.
is only in love with saying yes, sir, to his dad. He doesn't have anything going on.
Yeah. See, I think if older brother had the romance, there just need to be something more so that when he dies,
but
I care.
It's a 3 hour, 10
because
minute
I
movie.
mean,
they made their choices.
For House of the Dragon, spoiler for the series, if you haven't watched it, the brother we know more about is the one that.
I truly think you could have James Cameron devoted 3 minutes to it and had most of it play out in the backgrounds or wide shots. The two of them holding hands.
No, but I don't think he doesn't want that. He wants the romance to be because the whole thing with the middle kid.
I just think it would have worked better.
Yeah,
but then the middle kid's got nothing.
Middle kid connects to the whales.
Middle kid has the whale.
Yeah, but he needs to be with the girl in movie 3.
But
then we can get to that after the older brother dies.
Because she's mourning the death of older brother.
I'm with David. I like that. It makes him more conflicted.
Yeah. I hate the I'm dating my brother's widow girlfriend. Fuck that.
I mean, Hunter Biden did it.
I hate that.
Peter Bogdanovich did it.
You guys are naming some of the most cursed individuals to ever exist in American society.
I just think that's compelling in terms of the art.
I know.
The younger brother
that's compelling for a family
kind of keeps putting the older brother in danger. He kind of keeps pulling him in.
Right. And the older brother keeps being like, we shouldn't do this, but okay. You know, like that's kind of his, like, he's just Jake Jr.
Yeah, but he really is. No, he's not Jake Jr. because Jake took risks.
Yeah. Well, you're right. You're right. But he's Jake's model.
He's a rule follower.
Yeah.
He's boring. Get rid of him. No one cares.
That's what they do.
He's the son Jake thinks he wants.
Right. Exactly.
Whereas he recognizes the other son is actually more like him.
When he says, I see you. That got me.
You guys are just explaining why this is good.
Yeah, this movie owns bones.
Yeah, exactly. It's not a problem at all.
I agree with Brie on some of these things. And by the way, I'm not like dinging the movie, but there are things where I'm just, and part of it is it's hard to just fully gauge because you're like, where's he going with all of this?
Yeah, right. Especially, this is why I'm very excited to see it.
Yes.
Again, because I won't be too worried about like, okay,
I did say last night.
There's a lot to process on first.
One of the first things I asked Griffin was like, how do you feel about this compared to Top Gun Maverick? And I think that's an unfair question for a lot of reasons.
Because Marie, I saw Top Gun Maverick with you.
I know.
And you were not sure how you felt about it.
And then when I saw it the second time, I was like, masterpiece, 5 stars.
I'll say I had a similar thing where I enjoyed Top Gun the first time I saw it. The second time I saw it, it really like soared for me. But
it took flight in your imagination, one might say.
Right. It built a ramp out of the wreckage of a non-specific military base from a foreign enemy whose faces are never seen. No, my response to Marie was, I think Top Gun is more successful in delivering just like fucking satisfying popcorn, clean entertainment.
Absolutely.
I think this is a more sophisticated movie.
Yeah.
And I don't say
Top
that in any
Gun is
backhanded way, but I think this is like also a lot more sophisticated than the first movie. The thing that's fascinating to me, what you were saying, I had sort of been predicting for a while of like, is Jake Sully going to die in the first like 20 minutes of this movie? And then the narrative is going to get passed on to someone else. The thing that was surprising to me was this is truly an ensemble movie.
Yes.
Where once you get past the first 30 minutes of Jake doing the narration table setting, this movie basically has 10 primary characters and will just shift between them.
And one of them is a whale.
Yeah.
If anything,
at least 10 characters.
If anything, the character with the most screen time might be Quaritch. Like because he's really like in charge of any time he's on screen.
But I'm like, it's Quaritch, Kiri, Spider, the whale, Jake, Neytiri, the second youngest son.
Yeah, the second youngest son's way above. Neytiri doesn't get anything to do in this movie. I would say that's
She's
sort
got
of the biggest gripe I have.
Yeah.
Now, again, it's a 3-hour, 10-minute movie.
Cliff Curtis in there as well.
Love him.
Yeah.
We haven't talked about.
We're gonna.
Yeah.
You mean the water people?
I mean, Kate Winslet.
Yeah, let's catch back up to where we were. They've gone on the lam.
Arrive.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I just love this vibe.
Uh-huh.
It's like if like the president of France, I guess, had just been like deposed.
Yeah.
And he like showed up in Britain and he was like, "Hi, it's me, the president of
Diplomatic
France."
community?
Yeah, and they're like, "Well, we have to take him seriously. He's not nobody, you know." But like they're just having this vibe like, on our doorstep.
We have our own thing here.
They're the main characters, as you you know,
they're like, we saw the first Avatar, we didn't like it, we think it's unmemorable, people only liked it for the visuals. It was the 3D experience.
Tonowari.
You can't even name the character. You are the guy. Can you remember your own name?
What's your name, motherfucker? Tonowari,
yes,
played by Cliff Curtis, is the chief of the Metcaina,
in
the reef people.
The pocket. Let's just say James Cameron announces Cliff Curtis is going to play the chief of rival
pretty
tribe.
Logical.
You're like, that casting is so obvious. Is the performance going to be boring? But there's a version of it where you're like,
what I like is like, he's good. But I mean, I don't know what you guys thought, but like, he's genuinely conflicted. I really felt that he's like, I don't know what to do about this. Like, not in some henpecked way.
No,
because they're like, watch out for his wife.
It's not
She's
performative. It's not showboaty. He's truly
you
like,
feel him being like, I want to help these guys out, but I also like, I don't.
What
like
am I
the
bringing
vibe.
up to my doorstep?
And this is the magic trick.
When he gets mad later, he doesn't like turn into some thundering guy either. He's conflicted.
The magic trick of Cameron figuring out how to repeat the effective story beats from the first movie in new ways with new layers extends to this, where it's like the human shit in the first Avatar is like so annoying that once he finally settles into Pandora in the forest with Neytiri, she's showing him everything. You're like, what a relief. Yeah, this is a fucking better way to live, right?
And when it's figured out.
When you get to the water people, you feel like those fucking forest people are so high strung.
Sucks.
This is like they actually figured out a better way to operate. Not just that the water is pleasant, but it's like these are chiller vibes. He's a lot
vibes are chill.
less of a like showboat than Wes Studi, even.
Yeah.
Motherfucking basket houses, y'all.
With
they
the like
have nice
bouncy floor. They have like trampoline floors.
I know. It's nice.
Seems sick.
It looks like a resort.
It does. It looks like Sandals, Jamaica, or whatever.
I want to go to there.
They're pale blue rather than the sort of.
I'd say they're more teal. They're greenish.
Sure. They've got different color schemes.
Seafoamy.
They kind of have flipper hands.
Question about
Flipper
their
forearms.
arms. Are they different sizes? I can't tell because I just like looked up some official.
Arguing they have a dominant swimming
I think
arm.
one arm is bigger than the other.
Yeah,
and it's for like
it does
riding,
look like that,
right?
there, I will say. I don't know.
This is official too.
I know it's very official.
Yeah, he found. Well, we were talking at the DK.
Ben's reading the
visual
DK
dictionary.
Visual dictionary.
I did like that immediately. They're like, look at their shitty fucking tails.
Yeah,
like they like.
Oh yeah, they got thick tails.
Yeah, because they're swimmers. Just to speak, Ronal is played by Kate Winslet.
Yes, Academy Award winner.
Winner.
Getting the and in this movie, returning to the fold with Big Jim Cameron.
Right.
As Scott so beautifully pointed out in one of their Avatar PTR episodes recently, it's like 10 plus years, 20 years. Kate Winslet does these interviews where she's like, look, I'm happy I did Avatar. That was a brutal shoot. It was terrible. Sorry. Brutal shoot. It was really tough. It went on forever. And like 8 months of it was us in freezing cold water.
Hypothermia.
James Cameron's barking at us. He's not very sensitive.
I basically didn't want to make a Hollywood movie for 5 years.
Didn't she like accidentally eat clam chowder laced with PCP?
Everybody did.
Everyone did.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Including James Cameron.
Yeah.
Yes. I think Leo was the only one who didn't because he's vegan or whatever. I don't know.
There's like a few people who didn't. There's just that famous story of James Cameron's eyes being like bloodshot. And he's like, I don't know who's done this. Like, whatever.
But it's like, not only did she return to the fold, but he's also like, cool. So you want to go underwater for 7 minutes at a time?
Yeah, she broke a record.
You want to play the most water
for free diving
person
on screen.
I want to make this clear because the video came out recently.
Or for an actor free diving or whatever.
They basically do this training because so much of it is they have to like train your brain to not freak out. He's like, you can hold your breath for longer if you're not spending the mental energy, the panic, the not thinking about it.
You have to slow down your heart.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, people do free dive.
Train your rhythms. You're monitored, whatever. The thing where she did 7.5 minutes was her sitting face down in the water just to test how long she could hold. Cameron was like, you get up to that length so your stamina is that high when you're not doing anything else.
So,
when you're actually doing takes and you have to think and you have to perform, the most you get out of anybody is 2.5 or 3 minutes. But we had to get them all close to 6 so they could last 2.5 to 3.
You can hold your breath for 6 minutes?
You never, these like the pearl divers who can go underwater for
6 months of military training, which they all did. And Kate broke the record, but she was doing it not while diving. She was doing it just the test of the hold.
I'm going to test myself right now.
There's a video of her coming up when she broke the record. And you see her, she's just sitting basically on the steps of the pool with her face down.
To be clear, she did not break like the world record.
No.
She broke like the film record. The world record, you want to guess? Longest breath held underwater?
16 minutes.
16 minutes?
I'm going to get 16, so now I'm trying to... Price is Right rules?
Closest without going over?
Yeah. I'm going to go 14.
Marie is currently holding her breath, and she's been going for 18 seconds.
I'm
however,
going to guess that Marie will break the record, and it will have to be updated after this.
That's right. Marie's definitely going to hold her breath for longer than 24 minutes and 37 seconds.
That's insane.
I don't know. Budimir Shobat of Croatia doesn't agree with you, the current record holder.
You know what the other wild thing that Kate Winslet said was?
What?
He was like, don't do this at home. There's a reason they train you for this for months, and you have like supervision. Marie's still holding her breath. She's going to break the record. She's going for it.
Fuck.
God damn it.
How long?
It wasn't even a minute.
Well,
it was 53 seconds.
The thing she said that I found fascinating was she was like, the place where people actually fuck themselves up and experience like health problems or like fuck up their brains in trying to do this isn't in the hold and depriving the oxygen for that long. It's that when they come up, they like start taking huge breaths and they basically pass out and they like conk out.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Right. Because it's freaky.
Right. And it's like the biggest thing they teach you is that when you come up, you go like for like 30 seconds before you say anything, but it's very measured, paced, rhythmic. Yeah.
I thought it was cool that the reef people didn't have gills. They just had trained themselves to hold their breath for a long time.
Yes. Now, they do have weird butterfly aliens that they can tie to their backs.
Oh, I love
that. Will extend,
those.
underwater butterfly, jellyfish things.
But that comes up. It looks beautiful. It's incredible. Beautiful. But you also go like, is he giving himself a cheat code to make this movie easier? And then they basically don't use them again.
They only use it once in a while. Yeah, which is good.
He is selective.
Yeah.
Damn, does the underwater scenes just look incredible.
I mean,
everything about it. It's just like the colors, the way he like has made it just feel so real. their hair movement.
The hair, my God.
It's also, this is where the high frame rate stuff is like,
yeah.
oh, it helps that. Because I feel like when he goes in high frame rate for the aerial battle stuff, it still sometimes has that soap opera effect where you're like, this is moving too fast. The fluttering wings still feel a little manic. Versus once they're submerged, they're naturally moving slower, but there's just a clarity to the image and like the ripple effects in the water and whatever. And it is truly captivating shit that I could have watched forever.
Here was my fear.
Yeah.
Was just that there was going to be a lot of like, we're swimming, and then like, Jake Sully and company are like, wait up,
right.
They do a little of that.
Yeah.
And then pretty quickly, and like the Klansmen being like, oh, they suck. Like, this is so annoying. Basically just a repeat of the first movie where Neytiri's like, I have to teach this guy everything.
Yeah.
And then pretty quickly it's like, everyone's having a good time.
Yeah.
Underwater.
Now,
being pals.
Except those teen kids.
Okay, so two big dramatic things happen.
They do.
One is Kiri goes down deep and connects to the tree, their water tree.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. And then she has a seizure.
She has a seizure. She sees her mother in a vision.
Dr. Grace Augustine.
In a memory palace desktop computer
right?
situation.
And then she turns into her, of course, Stanford t-shirt wearing Navi body, but she's talking to both of them.
But I do appreciate that Kiri is like, it's not just like, Mom, it's so good to see you, but it's like, who is my dad? How was I born? Like, she's immediately like, got some questions for you, by the way.
And there's a thing, look, she fully accepts Neytiri and Jake as her parents. She refers to CCH Pounder as her grandmother, a true honor, a thing we all wish we had the right to do.
CCH Pounder was my grandmother, I don't know.
I would never complain about having to fix her devices if CCH Pounder was my grandmother.
About logging her into Netflix.
Go to the Upper East Side and be like, how many times have I told you what your password is?
Right.
I don't have a password. You do. Everyone has a Netflix password. I don't. Anyway.
She's the only one.
CCH Pounder would say it with gravitas. That's the difference. There is that thing of like, I don't discredit. She doesn't have the angry, you're not my real dad, you're not my real mom thing. But she does just have this feeling of mystery, of longing, of connection to this woman she cannot know. And just, who am I? What's my fucking deal?
But then it all goes haywire and she has a seizure.
Yeah.
And this is diagnosed by, who we haven't mentioned them yet, Joel David Moore and Dilip Rao, who are just still like hanging out on Pandora.
Just popping in a little bit.
Which is nice to see them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I liked the bit that Kate Winslet was pissed that they brought the human scientist to check her out. Because she's like, have you forgotten about the ways of the Navi?
Yeah. Well, I really like that scene.
Yeah.
Because it is scary. Like, Neytiri is there and she's obviously freaked out.
Right.
And they are taking Jake aside and they're being like, look, she like clearly has like epilepsy or something. She shouldn't be plugging into that tree anymore. Right. I, the viewer, am like, they are wrong. That's definitely not what this is.
Right. And they're sort of like,
but Jake's like, okay.
Jake and Neytiri are coming at from this angle of like, she has questions. She is inquisitive. We have to let her go on her journey. And then the Water Tribe is like, she will die. This is dangerous. It is ill-advised.
No, it's not the Water Tribe say that. It's Dilip Rao and Joel David Moore.
Yes.
But then
but
Kate
they're
Winslet's
also like, that water tree is powerful.
Yeah, true. But
most people couldn't take
Kate Winslet is like, get them out of here. Yeah. And then does some sort of,
breathing
tribal stuff. But yeah.
But they fucked up.
They fucked up.
Because they sent a ship over and they humans are able to track that ship.
Right. Yes. That's when they start to be like, all right, they're over there somewhere.
Well, this is the other huge dramatic thread that is established, which is there are these beautiful sea whales, space sea whales.
Okay, so here we go. The Tulkun.
This is where the movie really clicks into a whole other gear. Because we've
already met that they ride like sort of sea ikran.
Skim wings.
And you have to make the connection. You got to hold on. And I'm like, okay. So they got their own version of it. But then they're like, no, we have another thing that you guys don't have any version of this.
Right.
We are symbiotically bonded to these whales that like travel the world.
They're kind of the roaming mother trees.
But they also have trees.
Right.
No,
so it's like, this is new, right? Like there's no real like one-to-one here.
But talking about the parallels within the narrative structure, this in the first movie, right? The beat where they kill the mother whale is very similar to the destruction of
it. 100%.
It's playing the same narrative role, the whales and the tree. Yeah. But it is different.
True.
It's different.
It's different. They're like, everybody, the implication is like everyone has a tulkun
Yes.
that they're kind of bonded with.
Right.
You swim into their mouth and plug your hair into their brain through their, like,
Yeah.
It feels like their
tongue.
uvula.
Their uvula, whatever. And you kind of have this
Their
shared
like predator
thing with
mouth
them.
opens up like 6 ways.
I mean, the design of the tulkuns is so sick. We were saying it's like
They have
a
like
whale,
4 fins.
but a catfish, but a
Right.
sea turtle.
Yeah, there's like a turtle texture on top. You have the 2 eyes on each side. Then the underbelly feels like it has tribal tattoos, but it's like, are those natural? Are their tattoos mimicking the patterns?
I don't know.
I love all of it.
Mhm.
But I also love that this information is kind of slowly revealed.
Yeah.
Like just how important they are.
They set up very quickly. They're like, hey, by the way, that tulkun is bad. He's bad news. He's got bad vibes. He's a negative influence.
outcast.
Don't hang out with him. He smokes.
It's because there's
skips class.
He's the bad
Loak,
boy,
yeah.
which only makes me want him more.
Absolutely.
Loak is the middle son, right? That's he gets in a fight
Yes.
with the brother of the girl he likes.
Trying to
right?
show
they
up.
have that fight.
Yeah.
And then that's when they go out on like the big trip and they kind of strand him.
Right. He's like, I bet you couldn't fucking do this.
Right.
He's like, I can fucking do it. And they're sort of daring each other. They're essentially, it's the cart race from the end of Greece.
Yes. But that's where he meets Payakan, which is what you're talking about. The outcast tulkun.
But doesn't this exact thing happens in Avatar the first, where he's being chased by one scary thing and then it's then taken out by an even bigger, scarier thing?
Sure.
You have the, what are they called? The
Little
night
leopard
vipers
things,
and then the Thanator or the,
Right.
whatever it is. Yes.
It's
Yes. Yes.
Same thing.
But this is different because it's like the tulkun is not actually violent.
No.
But he has the cut flipper.
Mhm.
And when Loak's like, hey, he's missing a flipper, they're like, oh, well, he's no good
Yeah.
because he did something bad.
Right.
He like broke their code.
Navi.
He
That's what they
kills
say.
in general. Right, exactly. And then one of my favorite moments in the movie is when Loak goes back to see him and sort of they communicate.
Oh, the whale vision stuff.
But first he's like, what's up with you? And the whale says, it's too painful.
Oh man, I love that.
That is
That's the first time they're really talking, and you're just like, wait, what's going on?
That's the preview sequence we saw after the
You
re-release,
see at least
right?
when
he's taking the thing.
he's taking the thing.
Yeah.
out. Yeah.
And it ends with them just holding hands. That is, look, I liked that out of context, just as like a mood piece after the re-release, but it didn't make a ton of sense.
Right. You didn't know what was going on, really.
And then to rewatch the scene now with the build-up into that point, one of many moments that nearly brought me to the edge of tears. Some of the other moments were just something looked really pretty.
Right.
And I was overwhelmed. But that moment emotionally got to me.
Right.
And it's what I predicted was the moment that would really cause Ben to lock in, because it feels very tied to Ben's anytime in a movie someone is nice to an animal when they don't have to be.
Yeah, and he takes the hook out of his fin.
Yeah.
And he's sort of like, I can tell you're scared. Hold on.
Yeah.
I'm here to help you.
But so he's essentially bonding against the rules with this outcast.
And
but
he's
he
like,
is
you don't
doing
know
the
him like
bonding
I
thing.
do.
Right.
And they're like, I know him. His parents are shitty.
So it's all lovely.
What if this is a commentary on cancel culture?
What's out of control? It's out of
God
control.
damn it. Cancel culture will not come to Pandora, thank God.
Tar did nothing wrong, and that's what the movie is about. And the movie's a binary.
Yeah, right. That movie's definitely just about what's happening to her is not fair.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
That's definitely Tar's vibe.
Okay,
Anyway.
so maybe should we jump over to sort of the bad
So,
guys? Because we haven't really
Carnage,
talked
during
about
all
that.
of this.
Yes.
He's doing kind of a scorched earth thing in he'll land at some town and he'll be like, where's Jake Sully? And they'll be like, we don't know. And he's like, fucking burn it all down until they tell me.
He's taken in Spider.
Yes.
He quickly pierces.
I forgot
together.
about that.
Right.
Right.
Because
He gets
Spider knows who his dad is. They invoke it. And he's like, hey,
He's
look,
like,
maybe
I'm
you're
not that guy. Yeah,
But he also says to Curie, he's like, maybe you're lucky that you don't know who your fucking dad is. And they hard cut to Navi.
you
court.
figure it out. But then
No,
yes, when-
immediately.
in that
he doesn't
there's
hold any of these secrets.
But there's an
Yes.
early scene in the first act of the movie where they have a big fight and Spider gets taken hostage.
Right.
And they
Quaritch
basically
is
keep
like,
him. He's like, you're going to be translator.
Yeah.
There's that scene where Quaritch goes into the cell with him.
Yes.
And is like, look, I get it. You don't want to betray your kind. I get it. I
There's
respect
the
it.
insane torture scene where they
that
put
crazy
him
machine.
That's
in
fucked
like
up,
the
man.
evil MRI.
Yeah.
Edie Falco's
Don't
trying to
like that.
He's got like the face mask on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Quaritch turns it off and
Yes.
is like, let's kill him with kindness here. Let's
Right.
try and like, kind of give him a.
This is what I do like about Spider as a character on paper is he is genuinely conflicted. He hates his father. I thought Cameron might go for the easier fuck. The allure of his dad being back is enough to make him turn on his chosen family.
Right.
But the reality is, no, he doesn't like this guy. And yet, he can't ever fully reject him.
Right.
You know?
Right.
He's being held against his will, but it's not like he gets fucking Quaritch pilled.
No.
He does a little.
But only a little.
Just a
the
little
second
tempted.
he gets the chance, he, escapes.
It's the thing. He likes
But
when his dad gives him any positive.
He doesn't want his dad to die.
Yeah.
Yeah, and his dad doesn't want him to die
Exactly.
either. But
And both of those thoughts are kind of against their internal codes,
Right.
and yet they kind of override.
I
also
just-
doesn't want to be his dad, and he seems pretty angsty the whole time he's with them versus how he seems with the Sully clan.
right.
Right.
I just didn't, and I mentioned this before, I just didn't feel like the performance.
It's not.
That's fine. That's a fair.
The performance is
yes.
less complicated than
I
the
think
writing.
his vibes should be weird, and so I don't really mind the performance.
I think it should be weird.
And I like it when he's
yeah.
like just rubbing himself blue with like paint, and he's like, "I'm kind of like this is normal, right?" And
Yeah.
you're just like, "Oh my god,
Oh,
this
so
poor kid, he's so confused."
I felt this was a huge missed opportunity for an awesome moment where I don't know why they kept Spider in the loincloth the whole time.
Mhm.
This is a good take from
yeah.
Murray.
They should have put him in little like human.
Quaritch should have made him wear the RDA
Yeah,
standard
like-
issue.
That's all
shit.
fine.
See, no,
And
I
no,
think
and
his
then,
vibe is
no,
he
they
won't
gotta
do
have
that.
him rip it off.
Well, he
That's the
should have
point.
been wearing cutoff jeans, referencing Arrested Development, and that's final.
But I think
Murray's take is put him in the human clothes against his will, so he has the moment where he makes
There
the
just
I
choice.
like
needs to
that.
be. There needs to be.
A
I just
change.
wanted a change.
Yeah.
But I think he's feral to them. Like they cannot control him at all. So whatever. They're like, all right, buddy, you want to be fucking shirtless, Tarzan boy? All right,
I think by the time that he's like working
Sure.
with them, I think he's already accepted. That
But
this
he
is what
isn't
I'm
because
doing.
the first minute that Quaritch shows up at a village and starts burning things down, he freaks out. He's not like wincing and going like, "Oh, this is terrible." He's like, "You have to stop this right
Stop
now.
it. Stop it. Stop
This
it.
is
Yeah.
so bad."
Yeah.
Like and he stops it. Like
good.
so Quaritch is like, all right,
don't
all
do
right,
it.
right. Don't
Yeah.
but he's about to execute someone and Spider loses his mind.
Yeah.
Right.
At no point does Spider go like, look, I see both sides of this. You know
Right.
what I mean? He's always on the other side.
Yeah.
Just that he doesn't want his dad to die. That's all.
He doesn't
That's
want his dad to die, and he'd love for his dad to have a modicum of respect for him,
That-
even if he doesn't want to do it by
Killing.
playing by his
No.
dad's rules.
Yeah.
he also knows that he can interfere and hopefully do
He
some
hopes he can
good.
maybe
He's-
mitigate.
And
Yeah.
he's not that Quaritch doesn't want to kill him. Or
Right.
whatever, like he's valuable.
Can we circle back to Kate Winslet for a second?
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
Because I have an atomic hot take that I pinned
Yeah.
last night.
Yeah.
What is it?
I put forward the notion that this is the best accent work of Kate Winslet's career. An accent that doesn't exist.
I'm gonna run down some accents, but you say it doesn't exist, but of course she could at least go off what had been done in the first movie that other
Right.
actors had sort of
Sure.
tried. Right?
But
Like
new
that's-
tribe, new rules.
So what are some accents she's done over the years?
Australian.
Well, now I'm going to take this chronologically.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
In the film Titanic, she sort of had an American accent. It's a sort of fancy.
Mid-Atlantic.
No, before then, she's always doing English accents. In Heavenly Creatures, she has an
you're
English
right,
accent.
you're
She's
right.
playing an English
She's
girl.
an
Sure.
English girl. Okay.
But in Holy Smoke, she is Australian.
Yes.
Yes. We talked about this in the Holy Smoke episode.
Yes.
That's why I'm bringing this back. That I think she is.
She's great with accents.
This is my thing.
Well,
I think she overdoes her accents. I think she like
Puts a little
overcranks
mustard
them.
on 'em.
She puts a little mustard.
what do you think
But
of the
I
Holy
never
Smoke accent?
Care. This is my Holy Smoke take. Is I'm like Eternal Sunshine.
I don't remember
think
it bothering me too. Well, no,
is
I
one of-
want to do this chronologically.
my point
Holy
is just
Smoke.
I feel this way about Holy Smoke. I think she overdoes the Australian, but I think she's someone where her overdoing the accent never actually is an impediment to the
I
quality
just
of
want
the
to see
performance.
how
for me.
good I can be at this.
Okay.
Go for
The
it.
next accent she did was in The Life of David Gale. She has an American accent. It's a bit of a, it kind of makes your teeth hurt. I remember it. It's one of those sort of English people doing an American accent where you're like, this doesn't sound like it's from
Because
anywhere.
often,
But
she-
then
the children's TV thing.
she follows it up with Eternal Sunshine, where she feels more natural, more of a natural
I do think some of
performance.
that performance is like, Joel, this is what you do.
But that's
it's an incredible performance.
It fits with the character.
Yeah.
I don't criticize it at all. This is my point.
I also think her Australian accent in Holy Smoke is good.
I don't remember that accent bothering me. That's not the accent we're going to talk about. Romance and Cigarettes. Does she do an American accent in that one? Don't remember.
She does a lot of New Yorky shit in that. From my memory.
King's Men, I'm assuming she's doing kind of a southern accent in that. I haven't seen that.
Down in the bayou.
It's probably
Hey, champagne, come over here.
Hey, Kingfisher.
Go roll in the head with OK Winslet over here.
I'm making oyster po' boys for dinner. I say.
let me throw these there beignets in the powdered sugar.
The princess said the frog is underrated. Look. Little children.
My friend Ray is in love with the moon. He wants to fuck. My friend Louis is a gator who plays the trumpet. He wants to be a jazz musician.
You okay, Marie? Are you all right?
I shouldn't have held my breath earlier.
I'm Kate Winslet.
Little Children, I think she did an American accent that was similar to her
it's a more
past
quiet
American
version
accents.
Of yes,
right.
Yes.
The Holiday, she's English, obviously. The Reader is where I'm just like, get the fuck out of here with this. If I was German, I'd be so mad at that performance.
Kate Winslet, one of my favorite actors ever.
I
would argue
doing my job.
Arguably her worst performance ever in that movie.
It's not a performance I like that much. I don't like the film that much either. Yeah. Revolutionary Road, back to, slightly more like
we need
dialed
to break
up.
Out of this. Yeah.
Yeah. Contagion. Was she English in that? I don't remember.
Yeah.
She's very good in that
she's
film.
American in Contagion.
She's good in that film, right?
She works for the American government. She's really good in that. I just rewatched that.
Labor Day, that's more where I would say.
Is she doing Southern there?
I don't remember.
I didn't see that movie.
No. There's only so much time in the life.
Yeah.
Divergent, was she Divergent T's accent there?
Yeah, absolutely. Uh-huh. Yeah.
The other big one. We have to talk about.
There are two big ones.
Yeah, you're right. There's two big ones. But
what's the other big one?
Steve Jobs.
A movie that will never be discussed on this podcast.
Right,
Steve, you cannot do this. This is and like.
But then other scenes, she's like, "Hey, Steve, listen, you can't do this."
I think it is an amazing performance.
I agree.
And I kind of love the accent. But if I was Polish, maybe I would have some notes.
This is my whole thing. I always think, I never think she has given a performance where the accent feels particularly natural, but I also think it is never to the detriment of the performance itself.
There's two more.
I think the performance always transcends.
Before Navi. There's 999 where she plays like a Russian gangster.
She is insane in that movie.
She's kind of fun in that movie. That movie is forgotten.
A mob boss sister to Gal Gadot. One of the weirdest forgotten movies that doesn't exist. With the most stacked cast in
big
the
cast,
world.
big cast.
Oh my God.
And then there's Wonder Wheel. What's the matter with you? Justin Timberlake, why won't you fuck me?
Yeah.
Or whatever was happening in that movie.
Yeah.
Maybe you want to eat poison.
Sure. And then Mare of Easttown is the one where I think the thing starts to get meme-ified.
But like that was something where people were like, she worked hard on this, and you know what?
Most people get it wrong.
Good for her.
As the
Yins are among us.
Yeah, no, not Yins.
I know you're not a Yins.
Oh my God,
no, David,
wrong side of the state.
I know.
No, like the way. No, she talks about
the you're one of the forest people.
It's Avatar: The Way of Water.
Water.
And
water race. The way of water race.
There's a prowler on Grub Road, which she does it.
You should all be shot into space.
she's so good. But I think I think Griffin, this is a blistering hot take. I don't agree with you.
I think Mare of Easttown is if nothing else.
I don't mean it backhandedly. I just think that even when she's accurate, I think her accents are always accurate, but they are a little oversold. And in this one, I felt like I couldn't hear Kate Winslet in there.
Here's my question. Yeah. This is my question.
Yeah.
If you didn't know Kate Winslet was in it, would you know that was Kate Winslet?
Absolutely not.
I don't think so, because I know people who've seen it and were like, that was Kate
I can tell her face when she cries.
I agree.
She does like a grimace thing with her jaw.
But I love Kate Winslet. And also, obviously, I knew she was in the movie. But I had a couple people say to me, like, I was like, Kate Winslet, huh? And they were like, who was she? I didn't see her.
I think she disappears into
They're
this.
like,
and
David, the Edie Falco was the...
Right.
Don't confuse
It's easy to see how rude, David. It's easy to say, like, well, of course she disappears. She's painted over with blue makeup. But I'm like, you know who every other actor is.
Pretty much.
You see them in the design of the characters. You see it in their expressions. You hear it in their voice.
Dog Cliff Curtis face.
Right. And I really think she, like, disappears into this in a way that
Loak, he looks like Britton Dalton so bad.
Oh,
I was like, this guy's Britton Daltoning all over the place.
The second V. Wainfleet showed up, I went, I know Wainfleet anywhere. I know from Wainfleet. No, we said in our we went on the Big Picture podcast with our buddy Sean Fennessy talk about Avatar a couple months ago.
The humble rag that we did that, and you should listen to that episode. But I'm now so jealous that I wasn't on the episode where he and Tim Simons just talked about Blu-rays for an hour and a half.
Tim just dropped that in our text thread and was like, by the way, called you guys out a bunch in an episode where we talked about physical media.
And I was like, oh, I'm listening.
And we weren't invited.
Do you know what I did?
You're the one who asked us which edition you should buy, Tim.
I didn't tell you guys this, but I, of course, listened to the episode and it ends with Tim being like, all I want to do is go to the Criterion Closet.
You made it happen.
Did you set it up?
Set it up.
Yeah. Cool. So he's only been once, though, right?
I don't think he's ever been.
You know what the problem
twice,
is?
So, yeah.
Okay, well, actually eat a bowl of turds.
But no one ever took a video of me there. So, waiting on that.
Hillary, what the hell?
Come on,
problem
Hillary.
Is the ceiling's too low for Tim.
I mean, he's gonna have to hide.
He's gonna be tight.
A crimp in his neck. Yeah. I think, like we said in the Big Picture episode, that Saldana's performance is the one that actually makes you believe this is a real culture.
Totally.
Yeah.
Right?
She's the most successful element of the first movie.
But I think Winslet is doing a similar thing here where whenever she does anything, I buy the language. It's why I think the accent's so impressive, because you're going off an abstract thing. All the actors are sort of doing something a little different. Saldana has hit it the hardest, but she's not just copying that. And just down to her movements and her energy and all this, I fully buy this.
Can I raise a complicated question?
Sure.
I think you know I'm going to ask.
Yes.
So they made a big deal out of how in the first movie, the Na'vi were all played by non-white
actors of color.
Yes.
Indigenous performers.
Mm-hmm.
Kate is a white lady.
So are a lot of the people playing. Britton Dalton, who I just shouted out, who plays Loak, he's white.
Well, no, I'm just wondering if you're talking this conversation about Kate being so authentic and stuff. What are we
authentic to a made up thing?
Right.
This is why I bring up the Saldana point, which is just she makes this feel like there is a specific thing here. It's not like I feel like she's being authentic in that she's pulling from this real thing in the world.
The whole trick he pulls,
right?
Is that it's not specific enough to any culture for you to start asking too many questions.
But her performance makes it feel specific. I think Winslet and Saldana are the
culture.
Yeah. To a made-up phony baloney thing, rather than being they're sort of just pulling from this. I don't know. It's her performance is fascinating in this.
I think it's a good performance.
Yeah.
I wanted more.
Well,
I want
tune into Avatar 3.
I think she's, in theory, signed up for all of them. Right?
It's
unclear with all
She
of
said
these
she did a month. She was very clear that she was not on set for very long. So she was kind of like, my character is important thematically, but I am not some screen time soaker upper. I'm used sparingly here.
Yeah.
So I'm sure she'll be in 3.
Okay.
But,
I was very moved by her connection with the mommy Tulkun and the baby Tulkun.
Yes. And that is, as you said, the loss of that Tulkun is kind of the, oh shit, a death of palm tree.
It's when they bring in
the danger theme, it's called.
Is the harpoons with the inflatable
balloon harpoons?
Are the balloon harpoons, are those real?
I bet you there's fucked up shit like that exists, right?
Sucks.
That makes something surface.
Is that a Cameron thing or is that just a whale?
I'm guessing it's a Cameron. I made it 10% more extreme than reality.
Doesn't it feel kind of real?
I teched it out a little bit,
which is of course part of the cleverness of these movies.
Whale, but balloon harpoon.
While we've got Quaritch is doing his kind of old school, I'm just gonna fucking point guns at people until they tell me where Jake Sully is.
Potent mix, pointing guns at people. That's a potent mix. Hey, Winslet,
by the way,
what do you think about this?
We haven't said this. Stephen Lang is having a ball in this movie. He is just clearly loves this.
Yes.
But eventually they're like, well, they're clearly out in the ocean, so why don't you hitch a ride with, some of our sort of ocean guys.
Yeah.
But those guys, who's the guy? Scores these. Brendan Cowell is the actor. Obviously, Jermaine Clement is on these, and we'll talk about him in a second. But Brendan Cowell's character was like, look, I got quotas. You want to go see it, but I've got quotas. And
he's
quotas of what?
Right. He's like a gross Australian slob.
Yeah.
Who's just like, I got a job to do. Get him on my fucking way.
And we quickly realized like his job is hunting the tulkun. He doesn't like to go near the coasts.
No.
Because he's like, those are the ones that are like fucking bonded to the Na'vi and they'll get mad.
And
so usually we avoid that.
Right. Jermaine Clement, whose name is Jermaine, not Jermaine, as I previously said in a Moana episode where I also misidentified him as not having Maori background.
Great job by you.
Thank you. I've never, ever gotten anything else wrong in the history of this show.
Of course not.
By the way, in the novel Shaft, the character is written as being African American. Ka-ching! 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 It's the sound of the holiday season, David.
Yes, that is that dread sound of the holiday season.
Well, no, it's not a dreaded sound if you're managing a store on Shopify.
Oh, that's true.
It's the sound of another purchase coming through.
It's an all-in-one commerce platform to start, run, and grow your business. Shopify makes it simple to sell to anyone from anywhere.
Do you know who has a Shopify?
Ben Hosler.
Well, congratulations. Yes.
That's true.
Who else?
The Blank Check podcast.
You're right.
And we got some new items.
We do. You
on
should check
sale
them
right
out.
now. Embroidered logo, crew neck, a clapboard tote. We got patches. We got a beanie hat. We got a flat Stanley t-shirt. And we got deep discounts on past years Talking the Walk merchandise and Chip Smith chip coins.
Oh, yeah. Get those chip coins. Those things are going to come back in style.
But we got the classic
when
pins,
they become the official currency of the United States.
Comedy Point coins, all the old items, hats still in stock. It's a great season to buy some items for the blankie in your life.
Absolutely. And the other thing about Shopify is it's got 24/7 support, free libraries of educational content, and with you every step of the way. If you want to put yourself and your ideas out there, like ebooks, earrings, anything, Shopify is going to make your success possible. So, listen,
I'm listening.
Sign up for a free trial at shopify.com/check, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/check to start selling online today. Shopify.com/check.
Cha-ching. But he plays the sort of empathetic whale scientist who is taking the money to fund his research, but in the process giving them the information that helps them successfully hunt the whales.
And then every time they kill a whale, they're kind of like, this pays for your research, mate. Yeah. And he's like, He's a compromised character. I think it's a fairly interesting character.
Doing a pretty successful American accent from Jermaine.
Although kind of confused. Why not just let him use his natural?
I didn't even when catch it was an American accent. I thought he was just doing his normal.
Oh, he's sort of like, I just want to save these whales.
But he's not really saving the whales.
No.
You're doing a bad job, Dr. Ian Garvin.
Now, Mark Maron said on the Sigaruni episode of WTF recently that he auditioned for that part. I want to see Mark Maron play a human in an Avatar movie. He would not be right for that role. He would be right for the rowdier, fuck you, kill the fucking whales for me.
I got the harpoon.
Yeah.
Or honestly, the Falco. Yeah, I don't,
I want him grunting, yelling, dismissing.
Pow!
I want him drinking coffee and talking shit about the Na'vi.
No,
we need a ball busting.
I saw your act. I get the thing you do. What do you do? The thing with the fucking tree?
Yeah.
I get it's cute. So how long can you do? 45 minutes, an hour?
Like, would he have had to be doing just WTF like from a cat ranch in New Zealand?
The dream. Exactly.
Just interviewing like Paul Williams every week? Like, what would he do?
Exactly what I want.
Our entire, well, I don't know if it was the entire audience. Definitely our row burst out in applause.
The entire audience.
When the bad harpoon man got his arm ripped off.
You get that fucking moment where
I went like this.
Smack the table.
And cheered.
You get the moment where like this metal tether, right? This like steel, right? It's pinning him against the wall, and we all sort of look at each other, and the tension's building
for something.
Yeah. Right. Well, it's against the arm, and we're just like, is Jim gonna do it? And then it's like boat capsizes, arm flies off in one wide shot. It's not like he's obscuring it in any way.
So good.
The fucking ship. I mean, like all of the different like parts of the ship.
Yeah.
The submarines, the crab ships.
The crab things are so cool.
I like that the master ship folds out like a Mighty Max playset. Yeah. Like it feels like it's like, here's our battle mode, and then here's where you can see all the pieces.
They have to make that into a toy, right? I mean, that is like designed for like a giant toy with all the different little elements.
Pin an hour and 15 minutes for merch spotlight at the end of this episode. Go on, Marie.
Because should I hold?
Yes.
All right. I'll hold off.
Let's say 2 hours and 15 minutes.
All right, great. We still got plenty of time.
Marie wants to present something to the table, and by the table we mean David.
So I was thinking about getting us a group project.
You know, we talk about we don't do enough things together.
We didn't do like a holiday party.
Something we've never said.
You know, like
Uh-huh.
So I'm like, well, my therapist's office is next to the Lego store.
Yes.
Up on Nomad?
Yeah,
23rd Street.
By Italy. Yeah. They got a home tree Lego set.
Okay.
And I thought, wouldn't that be fun for us all to do together?
That's a great idea.
But I didn't want to, I was just going to buy it and bring it today, but I didn't want to spring a Lego set on you, not knowing your schedule, you know?
Oh, you mean like do it today?
We not get it done one day, but it's like, there's a commitment. We'll do this
Couldn't
over
it
time.
more be, it's kind of like, we would sort of maybe just put out a table. It's kind of like when you have like 1,000-piece puzzle. And it's like, I'm going to work on the puzzle for 10 minutes, you know?
But I just built my first ever Lego set.
You never had them as a kid?
No, I'm a girl, and I had no brothers, and my
It's
dad's
a
gay.
unisex toy.
I mean,
well, there's a reason they invested $500 million into market research to develop the Lego Friends brand, because even though it is ostensibly a unisex toy, there is a stigma against girls.
I agree with you, Marie, that it was coded as a bit of a boy toy when we were kids.
But,
no,
but
I played Lego with girls
my fiance.
Hey, fucking keep in your pants.
My fiance brought me the Seinfeld Lego set as a surprise gift the other night.
One of my favorite TikToks, because there's the apartment is the main set, correct?
Yes,
but then there is a stand-up.
Correct.
And one of my fave TikToks is, the TikTok that's like, Emma, no, that's the audio. And it's someone just taking the Kramer from the apartment and putting it on the stand-up set.
That's good. Now I did bring a much lower commitment.
Oh, you've got a toy.
I got the Avatar themed Kinder Joy.
Oh, cool. Oh, I can eat those.
Oh, dessert.
Exactly.
You can eat, and there's a little Avatar animal friend to build inside.
Should we do this now, or do? Okay.
Yeah, we're at the halfway point in the episode, right? What do you say? 2:15. Halfway point.
We're roaring into the finale.
So this is the dumb American Kinder Joy where you can't put the toy in the egg, so you split it.
Oh my god, that's so weird,
right? And then one side of the egg, you have to package them separately.
Oh, this is so bizarre because this is not how Kinders were when I was a kid.
Yes.
Oh,
my German au pair would bring us the authentic.
Everywhere else in the world, it's still the normal thing.
Oh, it looks like I got a what's the Elu? I got a fishy.
I got Neytiri, I think.
Did you?
Yeah.
Cool. I got a dire horse.
It's fine.
I think I got one when I was in Rochester, and I got Taruk.
God, there's like instructions.
Yeah. You don't really need them.
You can piece it together. What do you get, Ben?
What is this?
Let me see. Let me look at the. It might be a skim wing.
Yeah, I don't know. You gotta put it together.
It's a skim wing.
Or it might be Neytiri's Banshee. Look at this nice little tapestry of what a nice little intermission, you know?
Not an intermission, not the halfway
through.
Point.
We're halfway through.
Ooh, we can download a free Avatar
I downloaded
app.
the app. It's complicated.
Okay. So our Renegade Whale is like the big hero in this fight scene.
Yeah.
I fucking love.
Because he keeps on sort of saying, like, I know my parents don't like you, but I just need to, like, I'll bring you around and I'll show them what's cool about you. And they keep on being like, don't fucking talk to him.
Yeah, he's a killer. He's a killer.
And
but
he finally shares his memories and explains like I did do violence, which is against my like Tulkun code.
Right.
But it was because they were hunting us.
It's against the Dent Act. Let's also mention.
It was justified. They killed his mother in front of him.
But the whole thing is like, yes, they have this kind of built in. We don't do that. We don't fight. But he's like, look, man, the rules are changing because these dang humans. They don't respect how things work in Pandora.
The hierarchy of power in the Avatar universe has changed.
It sure has.
And he needs to change along with it. Yeah.
I have no idea how to put this together. It is so fucking complicated. Oh, my God.
We get to see them perform surgery and get the whale juice, which is really gruesome. It looks like just a giant dentist tool.
It sucks how banal and like sort of like rote their whole process is.
All right.
And the only part he gets any joy out of it is when he's holding it up and he's like, this thing's worth fucking $200 million.
I think he says 80 million, and then he does the classic, ooh. You know, we're dropping it.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
And Spider's like, wait, what are you going to do with the rest of it? And they're like, I don't know, nothing.
They don't use every
Don't
part.
be
They
Wow.
usually
Yeah.
just sink it, but they're like, we'll leave it for them to discover.
Right.
Yeah.
Barge is like, let him know I mean, he says something about it maybe being a pretty potent mix.
Yeah. Leaving a dead body to spite them. That's a pretty potent mix.
Put it on my tab.
Put it on my tab.
Remember that?
Do you remember that scene where Quaritch turns to the camera and he's like, "Oh, hello there. I bet you thought I was dead. Although you never did see me die, did you?
Did see him die. He got shot full of fucking arrows.
We all know there are no crimes in art." As I've always said, crimes in art, that's a
put this
pretty
together.
potent.
Wait, give it, David, give it.
You do it. You do it.
Marie and I are big and clever, and we knew how to build our tiny toys.
I'm bigger than both of you.
Wait,
No, but you're not clever.
David, does this only have 2 pieces?
No, the other piece is there.
It's dropping
Oh, okay.
pieces.
Sorry.
Um,
Okay, 3 pieces, and David doesn't know how to put this
I know,
together.
insane.
Have fun. Quark is looking for them.
Yeah.
Loak finally links with Payakan, who is the Tulkun that he's
Sure.
got. Learns how he was cast out, and they go to their dad
Mhm.
and say like, "This is for real. We have to deal with this." At the same time, Loak, her name is Syria, I think, the chieftain's daughter.
Okay.
And little Took are
Mhm.
captured by Quaritch. And so that's when it's game on, right?
Well, that
You know?
happens
Here
when
you
the
go,
brother
David. I put
dies.
your little thing together for you. I gotta use my delicate fingers
Smart.
to finesse.
Clever.
Yeah.
It's a little fishy guy.
Hey, I think it's pretty clear it's going to do the heavy lifting on the Tree of Life Lego.
I know. Home tree Lego.
Home tree
What if
Lego.
there was a Tree of Life
Yeah.
Lego set?
Brett Pitt is there, drinking coffee angrily.
Office buildings at forced perspectives.
Right. Sean Penn's character just sort of
This
spinning
can
around on a
ovulate.
beach.
A wheat
Yeah.
field.
Yeah.
I was sick. The DEET truck.
We'll let David build like
Hell
a
yeah.
like a bush or something, and we'll take the tree, the home tree.
Yeah.
No, but the whole thing that happens is they attack the older brother, and in trying to save the brother, he lets the 2 girls get captured. So when they bring the dead body to Jake Sully, and he's like, obviously beside himself, upset, angry. Beyond that, he's like, wait, fucking on top of this, where are your sisters? Because Quaritch is called in and is like, I have them here on the
Well,
boat.
no, wait,
He thinks they're playing chess.
Well, yeah, but he captures the 3 of them before the sun dies.
Yeah.
But they don't go after them.
Well, no,
The
they
boys
do.
don't go after them. They say because they bring the body to
What body of what?
the body of the older brother.
No, I'm not. We're not there
We're
yet.
not there yet.
Where
No,
are
no. The Loak
Mhm.
and his siblings
Okay.
go to chase the whalers and get captured. Remember, they're on the
Well,
boat.
yeah, weren't they going? They were going to warn the
Payakan.
bad boy of
Yeah.
the
Uh-huh.
yeah, and
And they
then they
get
get
captured. That's when they're
captured.
handcuffed to the boat.
Okay.
That's when Jake and Neytiri and the Metikanya, the whole chief clan, go out to
Okay.
war.
Okay.
And, they're on their fucking flappy ichthyosaur thing.
Oh, sure.
Not sure. That's when Kate Winslet is like, we ride, when she's pregnant. And he's like, you should probably stay home. And she's like, we're not staying anywhere.
No, they killed my whale, bitch. I'm
Yeah.
going out.
It's not a
Exactly.
movie I saw less than
No,
24
I'm
hours
not
ago.
mad.
There's a
I'm
lot
just
to
saying we gotta get
process.
it.
Yeah.
Because the thing, even more than the guy getting his arm cut off,
Mhm.
that made me go fucking ape shit was when they're on their what are they called? The flying things.
Yeah.
The
Wings.
band
Skim wings.
things.
There you go. They're skim wings. And they're coming at the humans, and then it's suddenly like which is coming closer, and then it's like action time, and they dive,
Oh my god!
and you're
so
just like,
sick.
ah,
Yeah,
they can dive underwater.
yeah.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
Of course, I knew they could do that. This has been proper world building, so I understand the rules of how everything works.
Yeah, but when you
And so
when you
satisfying
finally
to see
see
it in
it, it's
action.
so good. It's like the feeling you get from Top Gun Maverick when they've explained what they're going to do the entire movie and then they do it.
No, but I mean, if I can I do 1 minute on Top Gun Maverick?
Yes, please.
The
Yes.
genius of Top Gun Maverick, and Marie, you and I have discussed the
Yes.
genius of it is setting up like a heist movie,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
Spend the whole movie being like,
You understand
here's
the
plan,
rules and
here's
how
the
it
plan.
should go.
But the entire time in Top Gun, it's not even that. They keep saying like, so then we're going to do this, Sidewinder, up.
Mhm.
down, you got to hit the target, then you climb out, and then you got to deal with the plane.
Then you got to make it home.
They don't, but they just kind of, they yada yada that last part.
Yeah.
They're like, and then, because they keep concentrating on everything else. And you don't think about it that hard. And then when they finally pull it off and you're like, they did it. They blew up the thing. And then you immediately realize like, oh shit.
The most difficult part.
Like the hardest thing is about to happen.
Yeah.
And now no rules apply. And now everything they've learned is gone.
Yeah.
And they have to go by instinct. And that's what Maverick was teaching them all along. That's why he threw the book in the garbage.
Yeah, the
5 stars.
Good. Yeah. Fuck, remember when he threw the book in the garbage?
Only he would. John Hamm didn't want him to do that.
No.
Ham said, book out of the garbage. Books don't belong in garbage. Maverick knew different.
Yeah.
He makes the rules. He makes the rules of garbage.
Anyway, back to Pandora.
But it's the same thing in Pandora. He's just like, oh, shit. Yeah. All these puzzle pieces suddenly came together.
Yeah.
So there
not
were
puzzle pieces. Lego pieces.
Yeah.
We're now on
it's
this.
Not a puzzle. It's intuitive.
Kinder pieces.
Kinder chocolate pieces.
It's like fucking Cameron does the cement pour. He makes sure there's a fucking rock solid foundation before he starts building architecture.
So I know that there was a lot of jokes about how, James Cameron's going back to the water.
Yeah.
With this movie.
Sure. Right.
Before anyone saw it.
He can't resist.
He can't resist. And
opposite of a landlubber, this one.
And people say, oh, Avatar's got a lot of water. Doesn't really. It's really very foresty.
Yeah,
it's a waterfall.
If you thought that was a lot of water, wait until you see the way of water.
When we got on this freaking boat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With a moon pool.
Handcuffed to poles.
Mm-hmm. Doing
He's
the
done
Titanic
it before.
feat.
And the boat starts filling up with water.
Sure does.
Turning over.
My body started vibrating.
There was because there's that one shot in the trailer where you see like a room filling with water, and you were like, he's not going to do it.
Do
the whole fucking thing again, is he?
There's also that
the strobing lights as they're going out was
I love it.
boat is filling with. Oh my god.
There's that scene where they go to Cliff Curtis and they're like, hey, we got like 5 kids. We haven't had a night alone for a while. Would you mind watching them for a night just in a teary and I can have like a date night? And they go into like a space car and they fuck in the back of the space car and it steams up and you see the handprint of the 5 finger. And I was like, I can't believe this motherfucker's doing it again. He's playing the hits.
And I loved when Victor Garber's cameo as the captain of the ship and he's just fixing the little clock.
It's made of iron, sir. I assure you it can.
I also love when Billy Zane
just keep going.
comes in.
Yeah, Billy Zane.
He's like, no one will ever care about a home tree. And he throws it in the fire.
I want to rewatch Titanic. Maybe I'll do that tonight.
Isn't he re-releasing it yet again?
He can re-release it
for
every day
Valentine's
for all
Day or
I think he's re-releasing it in a couple of months.
Sounds like my plans are made.
But also Magic Mike 3 is also Valentine's Day.
Clever.
Yeah. I mean, my God, I'm going to spend all weekend at the movies.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Here, the last half hour of that movie is dancing.
No, I'm sorry. We're talking about the Magic Mike franchise.
I know. You thought it would be about whatever, tax fraud, but no.
No.
Just a half-hour dance sequence.
David?
Yep.
You hear that sound?
What's that?
Off in the distance?
What is it?
What does it sound like?
I don't know.
Crunch, crunch.
Oh, of course. Crunch, crunch.
David, there's no need to stress over the holidays this year.
Good.
We even got those impossible to shop for family members covered because Dadgrass now has something for everyone, including your most loved furry friends. You take the edge off and enjoy the season with their classic pre-rolled joints, hemp flour, tinctures, gummies, and CBD dog bones.
Look, Dadgrass is the legal organic smokable hemp that relaxes your body and mellows your mind. They've got these pre-rolled joints.
Yes.
Which are low in THC and high in CBD, so you get that nice effect of CBD with a clear head. And they've got some products that you mentioned, like the CBD tincture or CBD gummies, right? You can chill out without getting stoned. But, as you point out, Dadgrass didn't forget your furry friends. They have CBD dog bones, so now everyone in the house can enjoy them.
Now, Ben got very excited by that. We asked if they could send us some free dog bones. Their response was, yes, of course, but please try to focus in your ad read on the items made for humans.
Dog bones!
Which we're doing. We're mentioning all the human items.
Bones! All Dadgrass products, I must point out, all Dadgrass products are federally legal for ages 18 and over, and it ships right to your door anywhere in the U.S. So if you're looking for a new buzz or a chill way to enjoy an old favorite, Dadgrass will leave you in a euphoric mood. And right now, Dadgrass is offering our listeners 20% off your first order when you go to dadgrass.com/check. Go to dadgrass.com/check for 20% off your first order. That's dadgrass.com/check.
And I just want to restate that they have shipped me 2 boxes. I have product in my home, including dog bones, and Ben will be eating them on mic on the Patreon during our Koyaanisqatsi commentary. Crunch, crunch.
Yeah, they go to get their kids, and that is when there's the big fight.
Yeah,
sure.
With the whalers, the whales themselves start to fight. You know, the big shot of the whale jumping out of the water. Oh my God, I'm overwhelmed with Little Caesars and definitely not emotion.
Yeah.
And that is when Netayam, the oldest son, is fatally shot.
Okay.
That is when I See You happens. That's when Neytiri lets out her cry of grief, you know.
They go back to save Spider.
Yes, that he goes back to
injured and then dies.
Yes.
Right.
Big mistake.
There is some moment at which that's when the sisters get caught.
They're on the ship. We should get them. And he's like, we got to get this body back to Dad as quickly as possible.
Yes.
So they sort of make the decision to prioritize that over going after the girls.
I was so stressed about Neytiri and Took being... Because was it Neytiri and Took were together in the ship as it was going down?
That's a little after this. I just want to shout out the moment where Took gets handcuffed again and shouts, she's like, I can't believe I got handcuffed again.
Yeah.
Just cute.
But like 2 characters I really did not want to see die, especially since Neytiri doesn't have a lot to do in this movie. Right. The moment where the Jake Sully is maybe going to die, I'm like, he dies now, he dies with dignity, and he's had a good arc.
I was worried Neytiri was going to die.
I would have been really pissed if Neytiri died.
Yeah.
But, there's the sequence where, in between all of this, when they go to then get Kiri and Took, where Quaritch grabs Kiri and is using her as a hostage, and Neytiri just does the same with Spider. And
a son for a son.
And she looks like she's gonna do it. She's gonna kill him, and Quaritch is the one who stops her. So he has that first. It's the first time his resolve breaks in any way, and it is kind of compelling.
But also Spider, who doesn't fully think of himself as their kid, but as Sully says in the beginning, he just hangs around a lot.
He's, he wants to be a Na'vi. It's all he knows.
He's an Eli Cash, right? He always wanted to be a Sully. And
great.
You can tell when she grabs him and holds him up at knife point, he's kind of like, why is my vague mother figure doing this? But also, if this is theater, if this is a strategic play, I'm fine with it. When she cuts him across the chest, I do think...
I thought it was a real cut.
And I think he plays the moment pretty fucking well of being like, wait a second, would she actually?
Right. There's a real...
I'm not her real kid.
She's mad with grief. She's incredibly sad.
Right.
So it just feels tense.
Yeah.
But that's where it all breaks up. Mm-hmm. And we cut, we break into Jake fighting Quaritch, right? Where they have that kind of all right, let's just fucking do it. And Neytiri getting stuck with Took as he's, down in the bowels of the ship. Looks like they're going to go Titanic style. Kiri rescues them using magical floating fish, glowing fish, which is really nice. The kids coming to the parents' rescue.
I thought that
in
was
both
beautiful.
situations is really nice because that's what happens. Obviously, with Jake eventually, where Look is like, "Calm down, we're gonna do this."
I also love this thread in the film about adaptation. And how the kids seem to get the hang of things
they're better
faster.
They're younger. They can,
they are
kids getting technology.
They're helping their parents. They're saving their parents and helping them because they,
Netflix offers.
Helping them log on.
They're not just writing things on a Post-it, then they lose.
Right. I have to talk to my grandmother, please. Please talk to her.
You know,
I can't shoulder this burden alone.
One thing that I love about just the Avatar world in general is whenever a Na'vi gets a machine gun.
You love this or hate this?
I love it.
It's pretty cool.
And I like
it.
Jake
So good.
Where's the fucking the net communicator thing?
Yeah. Love it.
Jake looks cool in this movie.
Okay. What do we think of his mega dreads though? Because he is rocking. He do be rocking them.
It is dicey.
I think he looks good.
I think he pulls it off.
Because in the first movie he has kind of the the shorter hair. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think he looks good.
I think he pulls it off.
Yeah. I respect him.
What if you went to the Met Ball looking like that?
Well, what was the theme?
Under
the sea?
Pandora, under the sea. Midakaya. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, no, Jake's cool. I think he's cool.
And I like that in the first movie, he's trying so hard to be like, I am one of you. And in this, it's sort of more like he understands his advantages having a little bit of marine brain, a little bit of Na'vi brain. I like that he's sort of mixing the two. He's doing face paint with.
Anytime he like says human things to the kids, it just would make me laugh and be like, "You're grounded." And it's like
they don't watch Friends or whatever. Not Friends, whatever.
But like having a parent from a foreign country or something, where you're like, that's not what we call it here.
He keeps calling Carrie baby girl. All right, baby girl, and I'm like,
do that.
Okay,
and that feels very James Cameron, just in general.
Yes.
I mean,
I like that Jake's kind of a fucking dork.
He's a dork.
He's kind of a hacky sack guy, slash with a marine, like.
Yes.
But I also do feel like a lot of the movie is about how he's sort of tying his arms behind his back because he doesn't want to fight because he thinks he'll lose.
Yes.
And he wants to protect his family.
Yes.
Right? And like it ends up.
I don't know if you know it, but this family is a fortress.
Right. Except one of them fucking dies.
The boring one.
Gunfire.
Yeah.
But it's the boring one.
It's the boring one. I mean,
he does cry and then sort of turns into a tear and go like, I mean, if it had to be one of them, I don't want to like. Obviously, I love them all, but like, come on. We would have been taking this a lot harder.
No, it's sad.
It's sad.
It's
very sad.
It's sad. It could have
about a dead
been sadder.
But Kiri saves her mother and sister.
Yes.
Loak saves his father.
Because his ass got fucked up.
Yes.
Kiri's also been throughout the movie doing things like just lying face down in the water, staring at the sand.
She'll sort of zone out and kind of clearly just be in touch with nature.
What is she doing?
And she does this at the end to kind of like summon the glowing fishies that help.
Yes.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah.
It's
when
very
she does
moving.
her little like
That's
Tai
when
Chi
Katie
movements.
Yeah.
According to Kate.
It's just so beautiful.
When she rescues her mother. Sully strangles Quaritch and drowns him, but Spider rescues him, leaves him on a rock, and is like, look, I ain't all about you, but I didn't want you to die. Anyway, goodbye.
I also saw it as maybe an eye for an eye kind of thing because he kind of technically saves Spider.
Right.
So it's like maybe that's like sort of code, right? Payback in that way too.
It's complicated.
Yeah,
right?
it is.
I like that it's a little complicated. And
I like complicated things.
Sure. Do you like It's Complicated?
It's complicated on that one. I like parts of it.
I like when they make the croissants.
I love that.
And now here's
Steve Martin being
here's
stoned.
the thing I wasn't sure. Yeah, nice scene. I wasn't sure what the conclusion would be here. It's kind of the Empire Strikes Back conclusion where they're like, okay, we had a big battle. We're looking out the window. What's going to happen next? But, Jake goes to Tonawari, the chieftain, and he's like, look, this is all my fault.
I get it. We'll leave.
I'm the asshole here.
Yeah.
They want me. And Tonawari, and I was thinking like, is it going to be like the exact same structure where they're like, off we go. Got to climb the mountain now. Right. Join the Everest tribe.
New town.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, you're part of the clan.
You're one of us.
We love you.
Forever.
You can stay. So they're going to be sea people.
Yes.
And that's kind of how it's left, right?
Yeah.
There's no post-credit scene.
No, thank God.
Thank God.
There is an end credit song from The Weeknd. We were talking about this over dinner.
4 out of 10.
I give it a gentleman's 6.
I don't mind his new album. This felt kind of like the Leona Lewis vibe where it's like, sending us out bad.
I think we wanted him to show up riding.
We want a video where you're intercutting scenes from the movie with him superimposed onto a skim wing. Or, just chilling with the whale.
Wouldn't mind that at all. That would be fun.
He's underwater and he's signing his lyrics.
Yeah.
I want that. Here's what I like about it. I like that it exists. I like that this is the one franchise that still is doing the thing of we hire someone to sing a song to the themes from the score with lyrics that are about whatever.
Yes.
Like that this is like, it's not just some song that technically is from this movie.
Do you think it's that he's like, we love what you do and we'd love you to do a song for Avatar? And Weeknd's like, cool, so what's Avatar 2 about? And James Cameron's like, I can't tell you.
We can't tell you
like,
anything.
That's highly classified.
So we were having the discussion afterwards.
Where'd you guys get dinner?
The Smith.
It was raining so fucking hard.
Was.
And we went to like 6 places. We were like, let's go to the closest place. 4 consecutive places closed for private Christmas party.
Yeah.
As was the Atlantic's office.
And then like 2 places had closed early for dinner because the movie's long, even though we saw it early. And then we finally...
Yeah, you were out of there like 9:30.
Yeah.
I mean, it was late. So you
went to the Smith.
I mean, nothing wrong with the Smith.
No, it was fine. We had a good time.
3rd and 11th.
Yeah.
Well, don't dox us.
Yeah, how dare I reveal the public information of where the Smith is?
Well, there are
Elon would
multiple
suspend you
locations
for such a
of the
thing.
Smith.
No,
Yeah.
that's true. Well, that's the one you were at.
So no, we were trying to figure out like, okay, so let's say it's not The Weeknd. Who is the best fit to do the Avatar end song?
Right. And Marie was sort of saying, because like Jordan's a big Charlie Puuther, and he was like, do you do a Puth? Do you have a Puth with it? Do you need to cut a Puth with a Khalifa?
Is Jordan okay?
Jordan's doing all right. Yeah, I think Jordan's doing all right. And it was like, is Billie Eilish too obvious? Has she been doing that too much lately?
Yeah. Can't have her.
Do you need to wait for Avatar 7? Do you need to let it go through a couple of rotations? I came up with what I thought was the best possible answer creatively. Just creatively, what is the best version of an Avatar end credit song?
I don't know.
David Byrne.
Well, I mean, sure, that's shooting high.
But then I countered and I said it would no to David Byrne, yes to Peter Gabriel. Right. I don't think David Byrne is schlocky enough.
Marie's
to go with
argument
Cameron.
is that Gabriel will hit the emotions.
Perfect. You need someone with a little. I mean, even Phil Collins. I know he doesn't really make music anymore, but like someone with a nice, healthy dollop of cheese.
Yeah. But I want maybe for another one of these middle entries, if we end up doing 12 of these, for Byrne to come in and be like, I really considered what music sounds like on Pandora.
Well, that would be
built
fine.
the drums.
But I mean, like, because like I love how the Lord of the Rings movies, he was like, we're not going current here. We're going with Annie Lennox and Enya, and he wanted Bjork for the second one, where he's like, I want people who make kind of like trippy movie, trippy, easy listening from the 90s. Like, I mean, Annie Lennox.
I think the problem is that this is the one aspect of the movie that it feels like Cameron is not invested in. We were talking about last night how known it is that he didn't want My Heart Will Go On. He conceded when he finally heard it.
Right.
But he was like, I don't want one of these fucking end credit songs. And it feels like this is the one like sort of Fox domain thing where they're like, please let us just hand an MP3 over to a popular artist and let them.
The Heart Will Go On thing.
Yes.
It's like truly, I think they're just like, we can't miss out on that.
Yeah.
Like at the very chance that we could have a hit like that.
I found the Weeknd song relaxing and pleasant. We will see if it sticks with me to any degree, but I like
his latest album is good.
At the images of the whales while that played.
My other Galaxy Brain take, and this was probably like me being a little stoned at this point, where I was like, you know who would have fucking loved Avatar in general, but who died right before the first movie came out?
Who died in two? Oh, Marie is on target with this.
Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson would have
loved Avatar.
He would have
well, he did a Free Willy song.
Yeah, and this movie ends with a good Free Willy shot.
Yeah. There would have been a decade where every interview Michael Jackson did, he was talking about Avatar instead of talking about like Peter Pan and Pinocchio and shit.
Yeah, and
he would have built like an Avatar wing in Neverland.
He would have like gotten injections to make his skin blue.
Yeah, he would have turned blue, and he would have.
And you say this would have been good for Avatar to be associated with this man?
We're just saying it would have happened.
We're just saying it's a fact.
Yeah. He would have been obsessed with it.
I understand.
And he wouldn't have made, he would have seen Avatar 1 and is like, James, give me the song on Avatar 2.
We're just saying it's a fact. And the other fact is in that timeline, the pandemic doesn't happen. And I'm not saying it's good or bad.
Yeah.
The novel coronavirus just never exists in this time.
The film was shot by Russell Carpenter. Did you notice that?
No.
Okay, fine. Well, he's reuniting from his DP from Titanic.
Cool.
I agree. I forget who shot the first movie.
It has 4 credited editors. One of them is Cameron himself.
Well, yeah, he's always credited. And he was credited on Avatar.
One of them died. One of them gets the dedication at the end of the movie.
Yeah, I mean, Avatar 1 had 3 editors. Right, Mauro Fiore shot the first Avatar.
Right, and won an Oscar for it.
He sure did.
My friend's brother was on the camera department. His name's Robin Charters. Shout out. And I saw his name in the credits. And I did learn a little behind the scenes tidbit that all of the crafty and all of the food was vegan, except some of the G&E guys refused. They called themselves the Pirates, and they had a tent where they could eat meat.
Wow.
Respect.
Cool. I noticed there was a whole kabuki department in the end credits. I couldn't tell if that was like a clever name for some technology or if he literally brought in kabuki theater people to work with them, which either one feels equally plausible to me.
Yeah, I don't.
But there was like
I don't know.
Kabuki department, and there was like Kabuki lead, assistant Kabuki.
I don't know.
Yeah,
but that's cool.
Yeah.
Avatar: The Way of Water. I had such a good time.
I'm glad you're happy.
I'm excited to watch it
more
again.
Than anything. It would have been a real bummer if you were like, I really just was not vibing with it.
No, I vibed so hard, and especially after the near miss of the opening.
Can you imagine what this episode, like, what would we have done?
Oh my God, we would maybe end the show.
Don't say that. Never. But
no, we just have to push it. We wouldn't have an episode come out.
Yeah.
That would be funny if we just tweeted like, guys, Griffin's got to see it again. I don't know. He wasn't feeling it. We're worried.
Wait, what is this?
Oh, he's had this for a while. This is his old spear.
I'm ready to reconstruct the sphere. Okay. This is a triumphant episode, as I brought to the episode last night. Of course, my child-sized took the first flight.
I'm glad that you waited for 2 hours and 46 minutes into the episode to break this all out.
I'm like James Cameron. You got to save some stuff for the end.
That's
the
true.
last 90 minutes
true.
is the most important part.
I didn't realize this was a child-sized sweatshirt that Griffin just put on, so I tried to put it on when we were eating dinner, and I was like, oh no,
it's very tight.
This is a youth size 12, and Griffin confessed that he buys a lot of youth size.
That is not what I said. No, I said this was in the period of my life where I was so spendthrifty that as a small person, I would try to save $10 by buying large child sizes rather than small adult sizes, and it has rendered a lot of my clothes unwearable. I now am willing to pay $10 extra for clothes that do not cut off circulation, such as, for example...
Oh no, what are we getting now? What are we getting now?
Keep talking.
Oh God.
Should we do more Kate Winslet doing a New Orleans accent?
Did we really?
Box office productions?
Did we really talk about the Barbie trailer? Because I think people really want us to talk about that.
I thought it was really funny.
I loved it.
I like the look of the Barbie world that we see
too.
beyond, the jokey.
Griffin is now unbuttoning his pants.
Okay.
Oh no! Griffin just dropping trout.
It had to happen.
Wow, we're getting the full Newman right now. Okay.
Okay, so to paint a picture for the listeners
Marie,
at home,
you can handle photos on this one.
Griffin took his pants off, and he is wearing Navi tights.
Yeah,
adult
he's
size.
wearing Navi.
Tight, but adult-sized.
Yes.
And he's also wearing a Navi sweatshirt that has ears and a tail, and he's holding a glowing staff that is also from the Avatar franchise.
Yeah.
One thing I liked about
Griffin, you're single, right?
I'm a little lonely.
And mingling. Mingling.
I'm a little lonely.
one thing I liked about what you did last night, Griffin, is that you changed into your Navi outfit.
I did.
You didn't, have the balls to wear it on the subway.
No.
You got seated, and then as soon as the lights went down, you did a quick
Not only
change.
that, when our screening was breaking down the first time,
back.
I switched back so I could complain in normal human clothes and not look like the most insane man in America. And then when we settled down, I was
really
like, now
funny.
I can go back.
Oh, that's part of why you were so stressed out then. You had to keep changing outfits.
Well, I didn't have the leggings yesterday, but
We talked about painting our faces blue.
Yeah.
I got a temporary tattoo that was in my
It's
frosted
good.
mini wheats box. It actually came out really well. I felt.
These are very comfy, by the way.
Yeah, you look very comfortable. You look at ease.
I feel in my skin, comfortable in my skin,
That's good. It's good to feel comfortable in your skin.
Yeah.
Box office projections. Let's see.
It did $17 million on preview night on Thursday evening screenings.
Which is on par with the Guardians of the Galaxy sequel.
Right.
Okay.
But not as good as
the Black Panther sequel.
Or Top Gun Maverick.
Right. But it basically it puts it on track for an opening somewhere between 120, 150.
Oh, if it's 120, that is low.
That is low.
But the
original one opened
at
in 70 something, but
Yeah, but it's a different world.
I know it's a different world.
Obviously, the big hope for this movie is that it will have crazy legs.
Right.
Partly because it has no competition, partly because, as people pointed out, it's just not built like a Marvel movie and that people have to see it
there
immediately.
There are no spoilers.
No.
There's nothing you can really spoil.
Yeah, I mean, the kid dies, but
I also thought Deadline, whose box office analysis is often weird, had a really good point in their article today, which is this is actually a movie that people are going to be very strategic about how they see and when, rather than needing to see it Thursday to avoid spoilers.
100%.
It's also I want to wait to see it in IMAX. We were scanning screenings last night because we were sort of surprised by how many of the Union Square screenings were not sold out.
Yeah.
Although,
and it was
partly the problem is these multiplexes are showing it 50 times.
There was a 5 o'clock, a 5:30, and a 6 o'clock.
There's confusion over what the right format is. Right. But you look at basically any true IMAX screen and it's sold out for the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, sure. Obviously in those premium quality pricey screenings is part of the whole strategy.
Yeah.
Although owning those premium screens for
RPX fucked us.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah.
The other thing, of course, is luckily, or maybe we could get conspiratorial about it, maybe James Cameron was behind protests across the entire nation, but China has essentially lifted its COVID restrictions just in time for Avatar to come out there, and it's tracking to open gigantic there. It's always hugely popular there.
I think it's also huge in India as well.
Yes. I mean, obviously, this was all part of its magic run the first time. It translated globally.
They're also already like putting the emphasis on, we're projecting $500 million worldwide opening weekend rather than putting the projection focus on the domestic.
Right.
But the other thing is, most American blockbusters have been blocked from China for the last year plus. Yeah. There's been a big run of all these films being hamstrung on top of just theaters being closed in COVID.
Closed.
Right.
They haven't had any movies.
Yeah.
No movies.
Yeah.
Like, nothing's open big at all. Like, yeah, it's crazy. Number one's going to be Avatar.
Yeah.
And I guess number two is going to be Black Panther Wakanda Forever.
Yeah.
It was number one last weekend. 5 weeks in a row.
Just basically uninterrupted without a challenge.
$409 million.
Yeah. Nice work if you can get it.
Yeah.
A movie I think we both like.
I have a soft spot for that movie. I think it's interesting.
I do too. I admire it.
It's fundamentally struggling with,
It is, but impossible circumstances. I think the only way that movie could be better is if you had given him like 3 more years to start from scratch and completely reconceive it. I basically like every idea in that movie and its execution. I don't know how much it adds up to.
It's sort of the thing with all these Marvel movies.
Yes.
Did The Whale go wide this week?
No, The Whale, I think, is opening slowly because it was only on 6 screens last week. You two were not fans.
No.
No. My least favorite movie of 2022?
As our friend Mike Mitchell of the Doughboys podcast said, how embarrassing for The Whale that it's not even the best whale movie of December 2022.
Yeah.
Very true.
Yeah.
I don't even have it in my bottom 10. Ooh,
really?
It's a rough bottom 10.
Well, tell us what your bottom film is.
You have to see a lot.
Shitty movies. A little film called, well, I probably shouldn't even tell you because it's a secret. Fantastic Beasts, The Secret of Dumbledore.
Oh.
That's your worst. Okay, wow.
That was unforgivable, that film.
Well, I didn't see it.
That was like malpractice. That felt like malpractice.
I lied. My least favorite film is Pinocchio.
Pinocchio's
the
down
Zemeckis
there.
Pinocchio.
Down there.
I've got a little movie called Jurassic World Dominion down there.
I'm putting Whale below these guys.
Whale goes below Don't Worry Darling for me.
Oh, absolutely.
Don't Worry Darling had...
I have Whale just below Don't Worry Darling.
Don't Worry Darling at least had A+ production design and
Whale is very close to the bottom of the barrel for me.
Yeah.
It might be dead last. It made me angry.
Some other things that are down there.
For many reasons. Like some reasons I did not anticipate at all.
I also had The Gray Man down there. I had Fleabag Persuasion down there. I had
Fleabag. Fleabag. I was like, wait,
took a
what?
second to figure out what you're saying.
A little hero by the name of Black Adam is, changing the balance of power down there.
The hierarchy of power.
Whatever. And one specific doctor who, people could have stood to listen to.
Dr. Michael Morbius.
That's right.
A quiet contender for worst movie I've seen this year. It had been the bottom of my list. Now The Whale is threatening it. Just in terms of pure incompetency, zero joy. And this is on me for paying money to go see this in a theater. Liam Neeson's Blacklight is
a movie that I don't know about what that is.
Unforgivably.
I haven't even heard of this.
I haven't even heard of that.
Yeah.
And I know that these days he just makes one movie a year with a title like Blacklight, where it feels like they're just pulling it out of a tombola.
I have seen few movies in my life that are less anything than that. That having been said, his other film this year, Memory, which Martin Campbell quietly directed, I think is pretty fucking solid.
Because Martin Campbell doesn't really make like total stinkers. Like he can make a competent
He cannot
movie.
completely junk it up, even as much as The Protege gets close.
I didn't see that one.
Yeah.
That's Michael Keaton, right? And Maggie Q?
Yeah, and Sam Jack.
Huh.
And Sam Jack's good in it.
When's he bad?
A couple times. I'll listen for you off my...
Okay, because I don't know about that. So I feel like it'll be Avatar, Black Panther. There's nothing else opening wide this weekend, right? There's no counter programming.
No? Is there a Christian thing that's out right now?
The Whitney Houston movie comes out next week. I feel like that's the only thing that's even attempting.
No, next week is Babylon, Whitney Houston, Puss in Boots, and the Empire will finally expand. Lights will fill theaters. I don't know how wide that's expanding, but it is expanding wide.
Richard Lawson likes that movie, right?
I
think that's
I don't know what to tell him.
Interesting.
You know what's really embarrassing about that movie?
I'm not a fan personally. What?
You know what's like really embarrassing about that movie? Olivia Colman's not even getting nominated for an Oscar.
You never know. She might. You haven't seen it, right?
No.
It is a very big performance with a gigantic Oscar scene.
Yeah.
So I could see it kind of just sneaking in, and that's sort of like, I don't know.
I think actress is too crowded.
I think I agree.
Basically become Judi Dench, where if you release anything the last 2 months of the year.
It's a Sam Mendes movie.
Right.
It's like a big movie.
I think if she was Mrs. Harris, she'd get nominated.
If she was Mrs. Harris, Mrs. Harris
she got her ass to Paris.
She'd win her second.
But I'll say this: I have
award.
4 people that I'm fairly comfortable with in that category, and I'm not sure who the 5th's going to be.
Who's your 4th?
Manville's Mortal Lock.
I wish she did get a Globe nom. Nice to see it.
Because it's Blanchett, Yo, Williams,
I
and then
think
Deadweiler.
I think Danielle Deadweiler will be nominated.
And then Viola Davis.
It's like it feels like it's between Viola Davis, maybe Margot Robbie, depending on how that goes over. Olivia Colman. Those feel like the strongest, and then it's kind of like this morass of like Emma Thompson, Jennifer Lawrence, like these sort of stream movies that didn't like get a lot of attention.
Although Brian Tyree Henry has been holding on okay, which at least
really good in that
proves that people watch that movie. That's why Lawrence could
so good in that movie. She's really good in it too.
That guy, pretty phenomenal actor.
Yes,
he sure is.
One of the most watchable people around today.
The whole question with supporting actor is whether 2 Fabelmans get in.
Yeah.
In which case, I feel like that's that.
Right.
Because like Ke-Huy Quan, Brendan Gleeson, and honestly Barry Keoghan.
Well, that's the other
kind
thing. There's the 2 Fabelmans question, and then there's the 2 Banshees question.
Banshees are kind of in.
They're in.
It's
People
wild.
like that.
Yeah.
movie.
And then like it's sort of this thing of like, okay, well, Hirsch feels like he has a good shot, but like, you know, Dano, not just that he's good in the film, but like, you know, one of those guys who's never been nominated for an Oscar.
He's the lead, and I think that's part of the problem. He's getting stuck in a no man's zone.
Not the lead.
He's
That
in the
is
beginning.
Griffin,
In
that
the
is
movie from
honestly,
beginning to end.
That's a crazy
I think that movie has
opinion.
3 leads,
No.
and he has more screen time than Gabriel LaBelle.
That doesn't matter. He's not.
I think Gabriel LaBelle should be nominated.
I do too.
I would hear.
Along
I'd hear
with
that
Paul
argument.
Dano in Best Actor. It's like a network situation.
Oh,
Who do you think is more likely to get the 5th actor spot?
I want to remind people I'm still wearing leggings. I took my pants
Griffin
off.
is Griffin is still a Navi.
Yeah.
So we know that Fraser, Farrell, and
Austin
Butler are locks.
And I would call Bill Nye kind of a soft
lock.
sort of.
All
lock.
right.
Jackman's the one who feels vulnerable right
so
now.
He's not getting it.
Jackman's not. I don't
There was
think
a point where people were assuming he was default just
There's
because
this
of
one
lack
issue.
of
Nobody
options.
likes the film or his performance. That's what he's running up against.
What
there.
I've heard something different, which is that people actually despise both with the fire of a
People
thousand
are
burning
angry
flames.
at that movie.
So
I would say
be
there are
people at
4
free press
possibilities.
screenings demanding their money
Tom
back.
Cruise
Cruise.
getting a sort of weird kind of I don't know what to tell you, man. You did it.
Yeah.
right.
Nomination.
So Paul Mescal.
It's basically like a Key to the City nomination.
Right.
It's
Paul
Tom Cruise Day in Hollywood.
Paul Mescal's nomination, that would be a combo of like that film just kind of being well liked.
Right.
It's a very internal performance, obviously.
Yeah.
And he is everywhere. He's like really like pounding the pavement. Who are your other 2?
Wait, who else are we
I would
forgetting?
say the other challengers there are Jeremy Pope,
right.
who got a Globe nom for
Right,
The
he got the
Inspection.
Globe
Is very
nom.
good.
Pretty fucking phenomenal performance.
I think it's a very good performance.
Yeah.
Or Diego Calva. Again, the sort of
Right.
Babylon thing of like, do they like it? If they like it,
Yeah.
then maybe it gets in. He got a Globe nom.
Yeah.
But that was because
behind
it was
that-
under comedy, right? They put Babylon under comedy,
It is a comedy.
right?
They put
But
Elvis under drama.
They did. It is a
apparently
drama.
Bohemian Rhapsody was drama, but
As was A
Rocket,
Star Is
but
Born.
Rocket Man was music.
Ray was musical. Walk the Line was musical. They
Look,
always used to use the fucking music biopic.
Except sometimes they don't because they want
Recently.
to be serious.
Yeah.
Like Star Is Born and Bohemian Rhapsody. That's the weird year where Bohemian Rhapsody was named the drama of the year and Green Book was named the comedy of the year. Cool.
Good.
Good.
Wait, and why did they shut the Golden Globes down? It feels like that was
Back better than ever. Nothing wrong here.
Yeah.
We get that Globe over there. And then, you got like Tom Hanks and Man Called Otto. Maybe people
Has
are
anyone
auto-filled.
seen that?
Yeah, everyone's seen it.
Really?
Not me.
What did
but
they
it's
say?
good. Honestly, I don't know. Honestly.
Grumpiest man in America.
You won't believe his name. Is it Otto? Oh shit!
Fuck.
Did we spoil that?
God damn it.
I think people also, there was talk before Emancipation came out. People were like,
Yeah, I'm not hearing that talk right now.
is Will Smith going to show up? No, I don't think so.
That just felt like one of those things where Apple was like, I don't see a good solution to this. Let's just release it and see what happens.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't think waiting a year makes this any difference. So just put it out.
Yeah.
Put it out. Worst case scenario, it's sunk cost.
Yeah. It did feel like there was a moment where people were like excited about it.
And
And then
people saw it and they were like,
Yeah.
oh, I don't know. It's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, it's
Like,
fine.
right.
it's a Fuqua.
Guys, this is our last episode of 2022.
It is.
Oh, we will have, of course, a Patreon release coming up in a few days, which is a National Treasure Book of Secrets.
We're going to open the Book of Secrets.
But yes, this is our final main feed episode of the year.
Now, we usually take 1 week off, the week of Christmas, the Way of Water. This year, we're taking 2 weeks off.
Oh my gosh. Wait, someone's at the door?
What is Ben doing here?
All right, hold on. Let me just see it.
Okay, hold on one second. Ben just got very
Is this planned? Is this
performative.
Clearly
Absolutely. Ben's opening the door.
It's Ben's girlfriend, Nelly. We're actually excited to see her.
Nelly.
Nelly.
Nelly, I'm wearing Avatar leggings. I took my pants off. Thank you.
She's saying he looks good, which is,
Wait,
you know.
wait, do we have presents?
What?
Wait, we're getting Christmas presents?
Avatar.
Oh my god.
Avatar.
I should have bought the fucking Lego set. Oh my god. You guys.
Look, it's to David from Ben.
Hey,
wait,
mine says
should I put this under the tree? Like, what's
to
the deal
Griff
here?
from Ben. We don't have a tree in the studio.
Okay. Who goes first?
Let's also say I bought Ben and Nelly a Christmas present last week.
Nelly, how long have you been waiting outside that door? Okay, good. Okay. No wonder Ben wasn't yachting or telling us to speed up with the Oscar talk. He clearly was like waiting for her to get here.
I got Ben and Nelly for their home a Toxic Avenger pillow.
Yes.
In the shape of Toxie's head.
Which goes with all of their beautiful mid-century modern decor.
Which Ben was very touched by and Nelly so graciously tolerated.
For now.
Has not.
For now.
Burnt.
Yes. And we definitely won't get lost in any future moves.
Oh my god, I'm astounded. It is.
What is it?
Okay, so I got the classic congratulations balloon hat.
Yeah.
Which,
but last year you gave us ornaments, if we can remember.
Yes,
Okay.
of which you still have many.
Slow Christmas ornaments.
Yes.
Right.
And then the
Hey, look, it's well, you said.
Okay, so this is a
Griffin loves to wear a baseball cap.
I love baseball caps. This is an olive green baseball cap with an embroidered Popeye.
The Sailor Man.
Smoking a pipe. But the real nice touch, I guess this is the name of the brand. I thought it was a personalized thing. The back it just says Noah.
Yeah,
that's the name of the company. I thought
just the brand.
Okay, I like this. This is a great hat. Thank you very much.
They're like a cool streetwear brand.
Cool.
Wait, what did I get?
I like
Wait,
Popeye
what is
streetwear.
this? Should I open this first? It's a tote.
Yeah.
Looks like a tote.
Yep.
Okay.
Love a tote. I'm always going to the farmer's market. Oh, look.
Boy.
It's Schroeder and Lucy.
Oh.
Okay. Wait, what's he saying? From Peanuts.
Yeah.
For anyone who doesn't know.
Yeah.
Buying records cheers me up. Whenever I feel low, I buy some new records.
Oh.
That's what Ben's saying. He got me a record.
Okay.
It's the Charlie Brown. It's Vince Guaraldi.
It's the baseball one.
I love this one.
That's a good one.
Okay, now my turn.
Thank you, Ben.
You're
You're
welcome.
so nice.
You're welcome, guys.
Why am I not getting him a present? What the fuck?
No, you're behind the curve. I got him the Toxie.
Well, because I like doing this as a little
You love
tradition
doing
on
this.
mic. It's
All
fun.
right, what did Marie get?
Ooh, I got glasses, 2 drinking glasses.
Well, you just moved.
I just moved. Oh my god, these are These are beautiful.
Oh, whoa, those are cool.
These are really nice.
Where'd you
Those
get
are
those?
so nice. It's a place in Greenpoint.
Nelly, get on mic.
Nelly, get on.
look,
it.
Shove his ass off.
These may or may not be on my wedding registry. That is how good of a job she did.
Shout out a great little store in Greenpoint called Big Night. It's
Ooh.
a dinner
Big
party
Night.
Oh yeah,
store.
it's on Franklin.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
And not the Stanley Tucci Campbell Scott movie.
No, although they do weirdly co-own the store.
Oh my god, I
Do they?
love
No.
these.
Those were a Mrs. Haas special pick.
Thanks,
Wow.
Nelly.
Well,
Santa Haas, but Santa Haas's way.
Aw.
Yes, yes.
I know
Santa
you're
Haas.
not married.
He does walk around the apartment going, slow ho ho.
Speaking of.
Yeah, speaking of.
This
the
is all to
trip gift
queue
for
up.
all of our listeners.
That's right, because it's now the 3rd year in a row. It's become a tradition.
Yeah.
I'm here to announce here at the end of this 3-hour plus episode,
Whatever.
Slow Christmas 2
Now,
is now available.
you might catch the logic gap in what Ben just said. For the 3rd year in a row, I'm proud to announce Slow Xmas 2. Do you want to explain why?
Because I've decided that the first volume is Slow Xmas 0. That's right. I've made things more complicated than they need to be
Mm-hmm.
because I love doing shit like that.
So Slow Christmas Volume 2, the 3rd volume in the Slow Christmas trilogy.
Well, no, because technically now
Series. Whatever. Technically now what?
Well, I think he's saying the fourth Slow Christmas album will be Slow Christmas 3, which will be the end of the trilogy.
Unless he
Zero
changes
is
the
now a
rules
different
on
thing.
us.
He could always.
Yeah, maybe it's a 2.5.
Could
happen.
Or what if it's just like a colon and then a subtitle?
Or like a 2.1 plus remix.
Do you want to announce any of the people who are on this one?
Well, what I was thinking is I could announce them, but I also thought maybe just play a clip.
Oh, you want to drop it?
Because I feel like this year in particular, we have a past guest.
Yes.
Who's on Slow Christmas too.
Who is has a track on the album. So here we go.
Who slows it down?
A visit from St. Nicholas, or alternatively, a slow visit from St. Nicholas by Clement Clark Moore, read by Roman Mars. 'Twas the night before Christmas,
Oh my
when
God.
all through the house not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. The stockings were hung by the chimney with care
Now, Ben,
in
close it up.
hopes that
Oh, wait, you want one more thing?
Saint Nicholas soon would be there.
Now, Roman, of course, has one of the best voices in the world.
Lovely voice.
One of the best on-mic voices.
But
Oh my
on
God.
Slow Christmas, there's computers involved in the slowing down of things. There's technology.
Well, Volume 0 was
Okay.
mostly mixed that way. Volume 1, what we're now calling Volume 1, the second installment, was mostly Ben directing people to
Right,
perform
to slow it down.
slowly.
Yes, to perform
Right,
the
that's
song
the big
live
shift.
slow instead of
yeah.
like tweaking it in post.
Right. And now we're adding spoken word.
yes.
Roman just keeping it slow all by his lonesome.
And I was going to say, Roman Mars, not a Scorsese to begin with.
No,
he speaks in a very deliberate
he's
tone.
deliberate sounding man.
I
but
just assumed, oh, what a good fit. You can have Roman speak and it will be slower than most people tell that tale. But man, did you slow it down.
Is that all direction or was that edited in post?
Roman,
he sat down and did that himself.
he sat down and did that. He stepped away from his fucking family
Yeah.
and did that.
And that's a clean take.
But he knew
Yeah.
but like he knew to really space out mouse.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Mhm.
God.
So you can listen to all 12 minutes and 26 seconds
Sure.
of the full reading of A Slow Visit from St. Nicholas, performed by Roman Mars. We also have producer Brian from back in the day, our years at
God,
UCB.
what a throwback.
He performs sort of a like heavy metal version of We Three Kings.
Yeah.
So that fucking rules. We have
You have like the traditional Polish
Yep.
holiday song. That's the one single you've
Yeah.
already leaked
by
dropped.
Heavy Gus.
Yeah.
It's a Polish lullaby that they're performing, of course, very
I
slow.
remind people that all of this is real. Last week, Ben's holiday party doubled as an album listening party where he made custom napkins,
It was,
like embossed
it was really nice.
foil stamped napkins that said Slow Christmas 2022 listening party. And also bought a party sub and put a post-it note in front of it that said Italian ass sandwich.
Just so people knew what kind of sandwich it was.
The vibes were immaculate.
Yeah.
It's available now on Bandcamp. So please give it a listen.
Give it a listen. Give it a spin.
I'll of course have some links in the description. But yeah, thanks guys.
And look, you're gonna need a Slow Christmas album to fill up the next 2 weeks without main feed episodes. But then we return January 7th. Is that correct?
That is correct. The next episode of Blank Check with Griffin and David will be dropping on January 8th.
8th. Sorry. So no
Coraline-
episode on New Year's Day. No episode on Christmas.
Coraline with JD Amato
It's a
drops on January 8th. It's
big
another
one.
fucking 3-hour episode, right?
I mean, it has to be. There's
Yeah, I
so
know.
much to unpack.
Yeah.
They all yell at me for not knowing
Will Vinton.
Will Vinton's name.
There is a really incredible other piece of music in that episode, and that's all I'll say.
Oh, yes.
Oh, that's right.
Right.
I forgot about that.
There's a lot going on in that episode, and I think
Plenty
it's a real
going on
good
in
one.
that
I think it's what
episode.
people want out of our dumb show.
And then we did Wendell and Wild, and then our new miniseries will begin after that.
Yeah.
And it's a secret.
Keep the speculation going.
Secrets of Dumble Sims.
Yeah.
And no one will guess what we're doing based on what I watch on Letterboxd. No.
No, it's possible. Yeah.
Well, anyway, that was fun.
Happy 2022, everybody.
Happy Avatar.
I'm going to eat my Kinder. Oh, no, do I want one more slice? I don't.
I'm trying to decide. Yeah.
Thanks
Well, you
for
only
a
had, like,
great
one
year,
slice, right?
everyone.
Yeah, well, because first off, I made this mistake when we were recording the other day. This shit makes me tired. The Little Caesars pizza more than any other food makes me tired.
I hate
What
that. I
is
hate
this
that.
shit?
You have to
It's bad.
scoop it out.
You get the little plastic.
That looks like a face, and then
yeah,
use
this
the
thing.
head to scoop out
use
the
this
goo.
thing.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
No,
bizarre.
it sucks. The toys are good at least.
We're talking about the Kinder eggs.
Yeah, the Kinder Joy doesn't give me joy.
Exactly.
All right. Well, Griff, can you take us out?
Yeah, I was checking to make sure I didn't have anything else in my bag, but no, I revealed all my gimmicks. Thank you all for listening. For another year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Coming up on 8. A thing that when I tell people astounds them.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, oh, you have a podcast? How long has that been going? And they assume I'm going to measure it in months.
Who are these people?
Yeah.
But yes, year 8 begins soon.
Yes.
Plenty of great
Yeah.
stuff coming.
We've got a really cool March Madness that we're starting to prep.
Yes.
We're hammering out the March Madness and making
Right.
some tough decisions now about what makes the cup. I think we got a really cool theme that's going to open things up in a lot of ways.
Right.
Bring back a couple returning favorite
Right.
competitors, but it opens it up to a lot of new people. Yes. I think it'll be good.
Yeah.
I was trying to think of a joke, but I couldn't.
I can't either.
Anyway, yeah.
Thank you all for
so goodbye.
listening.
Yeah,
And let's give some special thanks. You know, the same people we thank every week, but let's put a little extra stank on these things because people like Marie Bardi.
We love her.
Aw. social media
I
helps
love
produce
you
the
guys
show.
too.
Marie the best.
Marie
Oh
the
my
best, but
God,
you know who else the
stop.
best? JJ Birch, our researcher, taking a nice
JJ's
week off from
okay.
this episode, not having to look up shit.
Yeah, well, soon, JJ, constantly besieged by daycare bugs.
Yeah, the daycare bugs. Joe Bun and Pat Reynolds for artwork. Pat coming up with another beautifully cursed Photoshop of us as Navi. And of course, Ben got spidered.
Of course.
Yeah, you'll see it.
The photo arrived right before we started recording,
not
and
good.
Ben, with resignation, dropped his head and said, of course, I got spidered.
Yeah.
Thank you to Alex Barron, AJ McKeon for our editing.
Yep.
Thank you to Lane Montgomery and the Great American Novel for our theme song. You can go to blankcheckpod.com for links to some real nerdy shit, including
New
our
merch.
store, our Shopify store. Some of those items are pre-orders, and the pre-orders will close soon. Some of them, the things that have sold out, if the demand is there, we will do another run. We're testing out a lot of new things in terms of merch, seeing what people want, what they like, and trying not to end up with 18 boxes of spatulas that people don't want. We're working it out.
You can still order those from our website.
You still can.
At a reduced rate.
They're
Yeah.
good.
At this
They're
point,
great.
it's-
I used mine this week.
and we're maybe 6 months away. Ben and I came up with the plan last night. Maybe at some point we Zaslav them. We asked for the government to bail us out on our spatulas. We bury them somewhere and no one can ever access them ever again.
We gotta write them off.
We got to write them off. Too many spatulas. Tune in next week for nothing.
Mhm.
Reach out to the ones you love in your life.
Yeah.
Have a conversation with them in person if you can.
Take your family to see Avatar.
2 weeks from now, tune in for, once again, not us. Circle back. Reach out to a friend you haven't seen in a long time. Maybe not the people you love in your life, but the people you like. See Avatar a third time. And then we'll see you back here for Coraline. And as always, I see you.
I see you.
I see you.